Okay, let me record on my side. Okay, it's recording. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Co-Operative Podcast, episode 18. We have a bundle of guests here. First, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Renegade Operative, and I'd like to introduce my ensemble cast here, which is none other than the first co-host, Mr. Captain Chaos. Introduce yourself, good sir.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Cass. As Ren said, I'm the co-host, and it seems like we have a lot of topics tonight, so I can't wait to get into that. Yeah, it should be fun.
Next up, we have Mr. Jake O'Ladern. I'm pretty sure your name is, you can introduce yourself because the Halloween names are kind of throwing me off right now.
Hi everyone, my name is Jake.
Oh, you kind of cut off there. Was that it?
I can introduce myself.
Deceased, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Ren has gone into the afterlife. He is no more.
For some reason I dropped. I don't know what happened. So
yeah, Discord.
So I'm not the only one having problems.
Just so you guys are aware, Discord is having some weird maintenance issues. I think it is supposed to be fixing those problems in a few days. I think by like the 21st. So things are gonna kind of be wonky for the next few days as far as Discord is concerned. But yeah.
Yeah, Jake, could you introduce yourself again, please, for my side of the recording?
Yeah, so my name is Jake Peter. I have a YouTube channel, and I'm here having fun with y'all right now.
Okay, who was next?
Oh, I was offering to go next.
Go ahead.
So I am the other co-host. My name is Biodevil Dom, and pretty happy to be on here again because it's been a while since we've done one of these.
Mr. Reapers?
My name is Biodevil Doms as well.
Get out, man.
This is
Get out.
Reapers. Once
What a
again, back at the
fraud.
podcast. Hey, man, shut up.
Miss Scarberry?
Hi, I'm Scarberry, and now I'm regretting not changing my name to Halloween one because I feel like the obvious one would be Booberry.
Oh,
I feel like I had a missed opportunity. But anyway,
it probably is. Also, Brandon, can you introduce yourself? Test out your mic, man.
Okay,
I started
Renegade's.
with Brandon.
No, I can't even hear Renegade. Like, literally.
Oh,
Yeah, answer the call,
boy.
but,
This
hi. I'm here to say that
This-
stuff. Okay.
This is gonna be fun.
And then he leaves.
Next we have Unlimited.
I'm here to stay. Immediately leaves.
Hello everybody, I'm Unlimited and I make really bad videos. I'm just here on the basis of my accent alone, not my actual analytical ability.
Hey, that's what makes podcasts more interesting.
He's part of the monarchy.
Can I also change my name to Unlimited?
No.
No, you can't. You're not cool enough. Alright, so I think that's everyone. So we can get to these topics here. Let me open up the document. And in the speed of light, let there be topics. Okay.
Wait,
so-
did Scar introduce herself?
Yes.
Did.
Yeah, she did.
Thank you, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't think she did, but okay. Yeah, whatever.
Alright, so we have question number 1, which is the long-awaited Red Dead 3 appears to be blowing up on social media due to Rockstar's rapid teasers. What is your expectations for the title out of what you have seen, and have you experienced a Red Dead game before? And there's a bullet point talking about Red Dead Revolver being available on PS2 to PS4. Do you think this was done to get both fans and newcomers of the past title into this new one announced?
Can I go for this one?
Go ahead.
Sure.
So, like, I don't have any experience with the Red Dead franchise. I've seen it around. I know a lot of people say that Red Dead Redemption is really good. I know Revolver is kind of like that odd one, even though it's kind of like the first one. But as far as that's concerned, like, when I first saw the, the background thing that they're putting up on Twitter.
The sunset shot.
No. The one before it, where it was just the logo. The first thing that I was thinking, I was just like, people are hyping this up like this is the next Red Dead. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, this could easily just be Halloween themed, like GTA Online DLC update or whatever, like that's what it could easily be. But then they made, the new image, which came out today, I think. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can see why this could be a new Red Dead. A lot of people are saying, well, it's Redemption 2, but it's like, isn't Redemption supposed to be a sequel to Revolver? If I'm not
Doesn't have
mistaken.
to be
Successor.
Redemption per se. It could be another one like Red Dead. I don't know, Retribution or some stupid
Redemption
nonsense.
has John Marston from Revolver, but as far as I know, that's pretty much the only connection.
Each one has standalone stories, so they don't
Yeah.
really, except for the online modes where you could use skins from Red Dead Revolver. They have no connection in terms of story.
Okay. Well, and I mean, I think, what was it? Redemption had backwards compatibility on the Xbox One recently, and we just got Revolver. We just got Revolver on PS4 to PS2, or I'm sorry, PS2 to PS4. So yeah, let's play PS4 games on the PS2. That'd be fucking ridiculous, by the way.
Downgrades are real.
But I digress. I think that's actually kind of a good way to do it, though, is where you introduce people to like the backwards compatibility and whatnot. Because if they don't have the consoles, they can just pick those up, or say they traded away like their 360, for example, but they have an Xbox One, they could play Revolver, or I'm sorry, not Revolver. Redemption, and I think Revolver also had an Xbox port as well, if I'm not mistaken, which is kind of interesting because Phil Spencer just brought up like something about original Xbox backwards compatibility, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, I think hey, if there's a way to get into it, then it's a good thing, and hopefully fans get what they want.
Yeah, so I played Red Dead Redemption. I've never played Revolver. I've been meaning to, but I played Red Dead Redemption a while ago. Beat it, and I don't know. It's I'm not sure where they're going to go with Red Dead Redemption or just Red Dead 3. It's interesting that they are going to make another Red Dead game because I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm not going to spoil it. The way it ends kind of leaves it open to maybe potentially having some kind of a sequel. I mean, things kind of wrap up in Redemption, though, so I don't know. But it could have one of the characters from Redemption come back for the third game. But I'm glad to hear that Rockstar is working on something that isn't Grand Theft Auto for once,
Right.
because like I've just been hearing a lot of Grand Theft, mostly just Grand Theft Auto. So I would like to see them return to some of the other series they've done. Like Bully, Manhunt. They've done a lot of other great games that just haven't really put much effort into aside from Grand Theft Auto. So it's I'm glad they're going back to Red Dead.
Personal question, really quick, for any like big Rockstar fan in here. Given how GTA 5 looks and just how, I guess, like expansive and open it is, are you hoping to maybe like see that like in a new Red Dead game, or if they did that for like Bully or something, would you want to see it on that?
I'm looking for the LA Noir face shit, so I can doubt that.
I'd be more surprised if they didn't do that, actually.
Man, isn't Red Dead
In Redemption, you could go over to Mexico.
Across the border.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you could do that. I think what I would like to see the most is just how vast the world is compared to like something of the old school Grand Theft Autos. Like those maps were pretty small compared to the new ones, so they could open up a lot of more detail with Red Dead 3. I think they could do a lot more in terms of like draw distance and what they could have on screen, and maybe it could invite some new mechanics, because Rockstar, they always update their mechanics each time, so each open world game has something new brought to the table. So since this is in the Old West, I think that those mechanics from Red Dead Revolver and Red Dead Redemption could apply to this game and just be like brought up to be 10 times more better. What I'm hoping for the most actually is the graphics. Like Dom said, the graphics look really good in GTA 5. So now they're on next gen. This is their true next gen game because I don't consider the remaster of GTA 5 to be next gen.
Well, don't forget the PC port of GTA 5. Fans went in there and like modded the hell out of the engine.
And it looked good too. They had the first person, aspect going on. So maybe they can introduce something like that into Red Dead 3.
That would be cool.
Yeah, well,
That kind of be like Gun, because I think Gun was it third person or first person?
I forget. I
think it's first.
isn't that the bad one?
No, Gun was not bad.
It wasn't the bad one. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, so I have not played any of the Red Dead games, but I did spoil Red Dead Redemption for myself because I read the story on Wikipedia, which is a good
Oh, yeah.
story.
it's
Yeah,
It
pretty
did have a
know.
good story.
The thing with them releasing Red Dead Revolver as a PS2 classic, it's just a really smart PR move. If they are in fact making Red Dead 3, because Red Dead Revolver, if it was on PS2, might have been before a lot of gamers would have really gotten into gaming. So like you pick up people that would have missed it, and you're gonna end up seeing a lot of Let's Players trying to play all the way through to lead up to playing the third one. So it's, as far as I can tell, I mean, it's probably not so much like, oh, they're gonna re-release it and try to like get a lot of money out of that, but it's a good PR move to build hype for Red Dead 3. If everyone is correct and that's what this is, then that's what they're working on.
It also builds upon tangibility. When you're hearing the news of the game and you don't have access to any way to play it, it's good that they actually have something out there for people to latch on to and figure out if it's something for them or not.
Well, and make them fans of the series.
all I'm gonna say is I'm loving the memes that's coming out of this shit.
Oh yeah.
That's weird. I was like, really? This is a meme? I think, why?
There was one that the Final Fantasy page retweeted, which was
I
the
saw
Final
that,
Fantasy
yeah.
characters in the background of the sunset. So
That was good. I like it. Good job.
For me, I just thought it was like, I think the only reason why some of these companies were doing it just to see how fans would react, like fans of their own would react if they did that, how fans would react to seeing a logo and a red background. It's just like, it's a fucking logo and a red background. Like people are overreacting about it. I mean, sure.
Rumors spread like wildfire.
Yeah, like if you're hyped for the game, or if there's a new announcement for a new game and you're getting excited about the possibilities, that's totally fine. But at the end of the day, you just got hyped over a fucking background.
yeah, you gotta have set expectations when it comes to having releases like this, because you never know what it is. It could be like Rockstar Beer Pong or something like that. It could be something weird.
I mean,
I
hell,
would play the shit out of that. That'd be awesome.
It probably
Oh,
like
Lord.
like a lot of people want it to be Red Dead Redemption 2. It probably might. More than likely, it's probably Red Dead related, but it's probably not going to be Redemption 2. It might be something different. They confirmed Retribution, which was like what people thought was going to be the new title of the game.
Debunk.
It was, they debunked that. I mean, hell, this could easily be like a Red Dead Revolver remake, for all you know. Like, you just don't know until they say something.
Yeah, it
I'm
has
for
to be
that
official.
GTA Online shit. GTA Online Cowboy Edition. That's what it is.
Right, or some dumb crap like that. It might, like, calm down, and
I feel
wait.
like there's always some danger in getting the hype train going too fast.
Oh yeah, you'll
Yeah.
always have.
I
runners
understand
disappointed.
hype,
People will
but
be
people do
disappointed.
take it too far sometimes.
Like, if it becomes super hyped, people will be disappointed, regardless of how great whatever it is that's going to be released is going to be.
Like Mafia 3.
It's not going to meet people's expectations.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Mafia 3 is an example.
There's some
No
games that
Man's
get away with
Sky.
that shit.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky, No Man's Buy. Oh man.
No
Man's
man's
hype.
hype.
Oh man.
Mm.
That is what happens when you overhype something. You just buy into it, and it's not what you expected. That's why it's always good to have set expectations, because you never know if a game is going to be good or bad until you play it. That's the ultimate factor. I cannot just sit there, look at like a red wallpaper and say, okay, I'm I'm gonna go out and buy it. I'm gonna spend $60 on this. I don't even know what it is.
Well, spend $60 on a wallpaper.
I did that with
That's,
Persona.
That's the thing with pre-orders, though.
Sometimes it
I do that with
depends.
Dark Souls.
It depends on the company and like if it's a sequel or something, or if it's already an established franchise. It's going to be it's a certain level of quality,
Or a
then
trusted
there's-
team, like for example, like I'm sure a lot of people have already ordered it because you technically can. Death
Yeah.
Stranding, but a lot of people like Kojima Productions, and they have
Right.
faith in what they do, even if it was like say for example Metal Gear Solid 5, underwhelming game because it didn't live up to the expectations, but overall was a good game, and people are still willing enough to still willing enough to give Kojima and Kojima Productions a chance to make a good game. Now that they're not with Konami, so I think it's
Oh, there's some brand loyalty there, most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that it's not always a good idea to have like faith in a company, but there are exceptions. There are companies that do put a lot of work into what they do, and it's sometimes they turn out a shit product. It happens, but it's basically when you pre-order, you kind of take a gamble. So it's kind of how it works.
You really do. As a matter of fact, I kind of would advise against pre-ordering because there's some games that come out and they are just a mess at launch. Like they don't work,
Yeah.
they're buggy. I think
Mafia
Mafia 3 again. Mafia 3 is the prime example.
I'm guilty of pre-order. Well, not pre-ordering, but buying that game despite what I heard about it. And it will not run at all on my system. So that's why I'm having to upgrade my processor because I can't get a refund. So it's like, well, if I got it, I'm going to make it work. And the devs are going to take their sweet fucking time looking for a patch or getting a patch out. So
I think they put one
Might as
out
well.
already.
they didn't put one out for the not launching issue because basically what happened, I know this is diverging, but for people that had, I've got a Phenom processor. Anybody that has a Phenom processor cannot launch that game.
That's weird.
I think it's like 13% of Steam users have a Phenom, and they're like, well, that's that number is like, it doesn't matter. We're not going to put more effort into making it work for people that have that hardware.
Yeah,
So-
it seems like they just cut off that user base, but they did put out a patch for the frame rate. For the
Yeah.
launching issue, I can see your point because again,
Yeah, they say they're working on it, and that basically means, well, we'll get it out when we get it out. So
that's a damn
Stop
shame.
rushing this.
But we'll get to that later. I think Mafia 3 is in the document.
goody.
So
It's that along a couple of other topics which I really want to go.
well, Mr. Dom, since you're so eager and since we wrapped that up nicely, how about you take the next question?
Yeah, there's a lot of good topics here, but since we were just talking about Mafia 3, why don't we just take number 15 and get it out of the way?
Oh,
What were your first impressions of the recent releases like Mafia 3 and Gears 4 and the COD Infant Welfare Beta? On a side note, apparently EA pissed off devs that worked on the Medal of Honor franchise, which is why we have things like COD and Titanfall. But I digress. I want to talk about the COD Infant Welfare Beta because I received
I
the
heard
free
that was
code.
bad.
It was abysmal. But let me get into this whole in-depth story that I have to tell you all. So I was given a code recently from someone in the group. They I guess they pre-ordered the game, and apparently they were giving out like 5 beta keys for that beta, right? Which means that they're fucking desperate to try to get people to pre-order that game. I mean, usually if you get a beta key, it's usually up to 2. But so I played the beta. I put in about an hour's worth of my time into that beta. I want my hour's worth of my life back, Activision.
That belongs to Activision now. You can't have it.
That
no
look,
refunds.
It was so bad. The infant welfare beta was so bad. I would rather play Capcom's Umbrella Corps.
Well,
That's
I
how
want to
bad
ask
it
though, like,
was.
what was so bad about it? I'm curious.
The weapon balancing was bad. The spawning was bad. The fucking like
The maps were terrible.
Yeah, the maps were really fucking bad, by the way. They really did not work well. And for anybody that's heard that, yeah, it's like Black Ops 3, but slower. Oh, believe you me, it is exactly like Black Ops 3, but like 30 times worse. I just, you know, a Call of Duty is bad when all of the weapons don't feel like they do anything. A lot of the weapons are just copy and pasted, just reskinned, and have certain parts changed here and there. And then they try to tack in quote unquote classic weapons to try to get in the really hardcore fans that are not buying into Activision's bullshit. Yeah, I just really couldn't get into it. It was abysmal. Like I said, I would much rather play Capcom's Umbrella Corps. It was just.
Do y'all remember when the teaser trailer came out? How poorly received that even was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I think when I
Really?
looked at it,
Wasn't
I even
that, like, the most
screenshot it 'cause I thought it was so
downvoted
funny.
video?
But it was like, I guess probably like at the time when I saw it was like 40,000 likes, which I was, that's just kind of normal for a big release. And then well over 1 million dislikes on the trailer on YouTube. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
So massive hate just for the trailer. So I'm actually.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'd just be surprised if anybody would go out and be like, "Yep, nope, love this game, Call of Duty, it's the best. I'm gonna play this too." Like, there's only so far that devotion to a franchise can go.
I think people really, really are starting to notice that Call of Duty is the same thing every year now, which is surprising. Yeah, it took them this long to notice, but I think people are waking up.
No, Call of Duty had a game every year since it started.
It's like Madden.
Well,
since COD 4, I think it's been a game every year.
Yearly.
Right?
No, I think since it started though.
Well,
I don't
actually,
remember.
I didn't finish. I was gonna say real quick, I don't think the situation with Modern Warfare being bundled into that pack really helped them either, because a lot of people weren't buying into that. They wanted to play the game, and then Activision started to be shady with it.
No, if they were smart, they should have just went with the remaster and just canned Infinite Warfare altogether. Just stuck with the total remaster, and that will boost their numbers, tremendously.
People
Or
would
just
bought
do
it.
like a Modern Warfare trilogy remaster or something.
You know what's funny is that they've even said that remaster separately, and as I think I've said it in the past too in previous podcasts. I used to buy Call of Duty like every year because I used to like that franchise, but as after a certain point I just couldn't do it anymore because they just stopped making the game fun and making it more of if the top YouTubers and the top COD players like a specific weapon, that's the playstyle we'll cater to, and that's it. Oh, and squeakers and 360 no scopers and fapping on screen or some shit. I don't know, but that's irrelevant. The thing is that like knowing how they're always like, well, you can only get this if you pre-order, and then a couple of months later they turn around and they release it separately. So I don't believe them when they say you can only buy Modern Warfare via the pre-order. I think they're going to release it separately regardless of whether or not they're saying we're considering it,
Well, remember the thing is, I think there's one purchase where you cannot buy it without the disc. I think that's exactly what they're doing, because I remember reading on that you need the Infinite Warfare disc in order to make that
physical
work.
Yeah, for the physical version of the game, you need disc in order to play in order to play the remaster.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the digital copy, apparently you don't. You don't need the digital copy in order to play Modern Warfare Remastered.
I just want to say this last thing. I think they're going to wise up, and they're going to eventually port this practice over to the digital storefront, because there is that problem with Uncharted, the HD collection, where you cannot play the Uncharted 4 beta, or you couldn't play the Uncharted 4 beta unless you had a save file on Uncharted HD, which is absolutely stupid, but that's the way they're going to sort of reel people in, is try to take those features away, which is going to make people even more pissed if they do this to a game like Black Ops Remastered or something like that.
Okay, now in the case of Uncharted though, that kind of makes sense because you gotta have like a legit purchase for the beta. Besides, you did play the beta like some point afterwards, so it was like a closed beta.
Oh,
And the Uncharted games were already in HD Renegade.
I know, but they still did make that whole HD collection, put it in 60. You know, it's still remastering the same game. But my point was, they could probably do a practice like that where the only way to get the remaster, instead of rebranding it and selling it off down the line as a separate release, is to do some gimmick where you have to have that game that you don't want in order to get the game that you do want. But yeah, I played Mafia 3. I thought it was okay. I didn't get any bugs. Surprisingly, I had one crash. Other than that, I think the game has a good story, but is getting really repetitive because I'm noticing that every mission that you do, whether you're bootlegging or trying to take down a mob boss or you're trying to storm a hideout, is getting kind of repetitive. It really is. It's like the same process over and over again, and it doesn't really change. I didn't get that far into deeper story missions. The graphics look nice. The gunplay and the fighting and everything, I mean, the fighting isn't that captivating as I thought it would be. You can pretty much just knock everything out one punch, no problem. The shooting is, it's okay. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does, but it's not the most compelling thing. It's like, you know...
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What's your...
real quick. If you had to choose between Mafia 2 or 3, which one you pick?
2.
2 is really good. I can't complain about 2.
I can fucking change my clothes.
Yeah.
Fucking be in the same fucking thing.
But it seems like it seems to vary from person to person for Mafia 3 because some people will get like a ton of bugs and some people like they'll be fine. Or,
I see some weird shit. And
I heard complaints about the graphics too, like the skybox looks really weird.
Cars keep hopping everywhere.
Cars they fucking go to the stratosphere. When it fucking rains, it's fucking terrible.
Dude, I've seen somebody barely hit a boat and the other boat like flew up into the air and just started bouncing. Okay.
Dude, the driving simulation.
I saw another one. And I saw another one where somebody drove off a bridge with their car and it started to fly. Like it was some Harry Potter shit.
I know this is gonna sound bad, but to be honest, that makes me want to get the game because that sounds really
yeah, I want to play it now.
It sounds cool, but you know, when you realize you spent $60 on it, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, $60 is a lot, but you can just change the purpose of the game to trick shots to see how bad you can make it glitch.
Go to CD Keys. I'm sure it's cheaper there.
I literally seen him.
To be honest.
Yeah, I literally seen a man like go to space in Mafia 3 in a video. I was like, why am I not getting these ridiculous bugs? It's so weird. Like, it's so weird.
That's strange that the driving is bad though, because I remember in Mafia 2 the driving was fine.
It's
like,
it's not bad. It's just not as great as you would like it to be. Obviously, do not drive on simulation controls because I tried driving on simulation in a boat. That makes the driving more realistic, and driving in a boat is impossible in that game on simulation. I don't know why. I just turned it off fast.
You know what's funny? I remember reading an article saying that why Mafia 3 is better than GTA 5.
I
stopped reading after the first paragraph.
It's not. Whoever said that is a fucking retard.
Whoa.
I don't think Mafia 2 is better than GTA 5, and that's probably...
Mafia is very linear. It really is. It's like... even though
it's not as open as Grand Theft Auto, and there's not nearly as much to do.
Yeah, the mission structure is very linear compared to GTA, where you can actually go outside and do stuff without having to get into like 4 or 5 missions to progress anything. You could just like fuck around with it.
Yeah, it's beating up pedestrians isn't as satisfying as it is in GTA.
Or just running them over.
Yeah, or
so
stabbing
dark,
them.
you two.
I mean, no, it's true.
It's really not. The handling is awful.
When you beat the game, you just end up, just walking around the world and just doing dumb shit.
I would just drive on the sidewalk in GTA 4, I remember.
I did that in Sleeping Dogs, but that's a completely different game. Actually, since I brought it up, should we bring up
no one rumors.
Should we bring up the breaking news?
Sure.
Break up.
Sure.
So, who wants to bring up the breaking news? It's at the very top of the document.
I'll do it.
I guess
Yeah,
I'll do
read
it.
the breakup news.
Rumors are swirling around NeoGAF that United Front Games has shut down. There is evidence that their new IP, Smash Plus Grab, is no longer available for purchase on Steam. What are your thoughts? I guess I'll go ahead.
First,
Good. I think it's good.
Like I don't know. It's like right now it seems like it's a rumor. If the only evidence you have is one of their games on Steam not being available for purchase, like that could mean any number of things. I don't know if that would mean they're going down or anything. So I think that they're kind of jumping to conclusions unless there is anything else to really support that claim. But yeah, it just kind of seems like that they may be just jumping to conclusions at the moment. I think we should just wait until we hear anything else about it because it really doesn't seem at the moment that there is anything besides just that to back up that claim.
Well, according to Mr. Konecki, Game Informer also commented on the story saying that they closed down.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
When was this?
8:32 p.m. today.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's Game Informer. That's real.
No more sleeping dogs. Fuck.
Yeah, it says United Front Games, the developer behind Sleeping Dogs and Mod Nation Racers, has closed down. The studio was founded in 2007. Closure came during the early access period of United Front's latest game, Smash and Grab. The game is no longer available for purchase from the Steam store.
Damn.
United
And then
Front.
they advertised another article. Man, now I wish I bought it.
Why
Just
the-
as I was saying,
Won't the servers be down, though?
Might not happen.
What the fuck is Smash and Grab, and why didn't you make it on fucking Sleeping Dogs too?
Do you want to know what Smash and Grab is?
No,
Go
what
ahead.
is it?
It's a game where you break into places and loot them. I believe it's team-based and multiplayer.
Yeah.
it's
So
like
there's
T-
a
I was-
couple squads.
or something like that.
I was actually gonna say that I really didn't like the concept of that game, and I found it
Wow.
pretty awful when you consider, I'm not gonna get into politics, but certain things that have been happening in recent events is probably not a good time to release a game called Smash and Grab.
Oh,
Well, that was the thing. We
Well,
had a
I won't
discussion
say
about
anything
this whole
further
issue
than that,
earlier, where
but-
it was like you can't just assume that a rumor is true without evidence. But until
Yeah.
something like this came up, you have to treat it as just a rumor.
Yeah, and I was saying these are just rumors, and then I see that, and I'm like, oh,
But
okay.
that's the thing is that they say well, it's false. We were talking about
Yeah.
earlier that there wasn't really evidence that it was false. If you looked at their tweet history in the past several days, there wasn't anything really promoting their own games. There wasn't anything saying, "Oh, we're developing this, we're doing this DLC." There's nothing that showed positive work being done either. So that I guess
Yeah.
that makes sense
I'm
now.
gonna say this: Square Enix, please buy Sleeping Dogs off of that corpse.
Apparently,
Square Enix owns the rights to Sleeping Dogs.
Oh, we're good.
United Front Games is just the developer for it.
Had they ever said that they may be working on a sequel?
No,
or is that...
apparently they said that they wanted to do Sleeping Dogs too, but Square Enix would not fund them for some reason for that.
Oh, of course.
I don't know
Fuck
why.
you, Square.
Hey man, they're making
Square
Final
makes some
Fantasy 15.
stupid
Shut up.
decisions.
They're busy.
No. This from the TCP to Square Enix.
No,
okay?
not the TCP.
Fuck
No,
you.
Bio
no.
Devil Dom
Opinions
to
do not
fucking-
necessarily represent the opinions of all members.
I
of
don't
Dom
want
is-
this blood on my hands.
Dom is kicked out as of right now.
It was in self-defense. It's fine.
Square Enix, you keep making Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy 15, and we won't fucking bother you.
I will.
Ah, well,
Kingdom Hearts 3 never.
call the security. Call the dogs.
Call the Sleeping Dogs.
Hey,
Hey,
guys.
someone joke.
What you know what pisses me off too? I'm sorry, this is kind of diverging, but what pisses me off too is that they said that what was it? Back in 2013, they said that the Hitman reboot, or I'm sorry, no, Hitman Absolution, the Tomb Raider reboot, and Sleeping Dogs did not sell well. But then you look at the sales numbers, and they're like, these sold
Yeah.
perfectly fine. Why aren't you making sequels for them? And they only they rebooted Hitman, and now it's an episodic piece of crap. They made
That's
Tomb
really
Raider.
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
It's episodic, but that's beside the point. But you have Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I heard mixed opinions about, and then nothing on Sleeping Dogs.
Let's not forget, Rise was on the Xbox, and that ticked off a lot of people. I think
Exactly.
that went under expectations of Square Enix.
So I would put most of the blame on Square, but yeah.
Of course,
They're
it sucks. Okay,
busy on
yeah,
their East Coast game. I don't know.
Man,
Anybody
you guys all
else
seem
have-
really bummed out that the rumor was true.
I wasn't expecting that. Like right after I was saying it, I don't know, it's a rumor, and then I see that. That was just perfectly timed.
That's
I mean,
pretty
I-
fucking disheartening.
It's a lesson
like-
that tabloids are sometimes correct.
I like Sleeping Dogs and
No, I'm not saying they're not.
hentai and all that shit, but I mean, bring back Super.
I'm not saying they're not. It's just that like I usually want to see more evidence other than just this one example. But
Objection.
yeah, that's
It was really weird because like the thing is that there was nothing on their site that said, like, on their official website that said they were shutting down. You didn't see the site.
Yeah,
get
it's
taken
really
down,
abrupt.
and they didn't
It
make any
probably just
tweets
happened
about it.
recently. It probably just happened
it's
recently.
just really
so-
abrupt. It's just out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, we're closing now.
But you also got to consider it probably just happened recently, so they probably didn't have time to like say it out loud. But you know, since the thing was
Yeah,
leaked out,
probably.
it really
You
just-
can do
I'm not sure
that.
what's supposed
Takes
to say
like
now.
2 minutes to do.
No,
Yeah,
you're not missing my point. No, they got. I'm pretty sure there's more to it than that.
I mean,
They're not gonna- they're not
yeah,
gonna
I'm sure it's
outright-
more.
they're not gonna outright say it immediately when shutting down. They probably got waited out a bit, then say they're going to be shutting down. Plus,
I mean,
it's
you
been leaked
could
out.
easily say you're shutting down. Wait a few hours to make a full-on response about why you're shutting down. I mean, this isn't really an issue. I don't see why they couldn't just do that.
Yeah, I do think that there's a lot of fans, obviously, so people do get concerned and ask them about this. So for them to either confirm or debunk it is important because, again, a lot of people do like the company. So an official statement, I mean, that can't hurt, considering they have like all these websites and blogs and all
they
this
have-
stuff.
They have quite a few ways to reach out to people, so I don't know.
Like I said, though, the part just happened recently, so I don't know. They probably could have done it like tomorrow. You never know.
It's a
Mhm.
business
Based on their
decision.
Twitter history, they'll probably just retweet this article.
It is a business decision, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I guess we can move on to the next article. So, who wants to take it? Mr. Reapers, you didn't go.
All right. Let me see. Let's read some of this stuff. Phil Spencer says the Xbox One capability for the original Xbox is a possibility. If the Xbox One were to get original Xbox that were backwards compatible, what would you like to see? There's a bullet that talks about recores, low scores. But I don't really care about Xbox backwards compatibility that much because the Xbox original kind of didn't blow my mind. The library, I had it and I kind of regretted it. Well, it blinks a time cap.
The original Xbox I thought was actually a pretty good system. Like it had some pretty good games on it. I mean, obviously it can't compare to like the library of the PS2 or anything like that, but it had some pretty good games on there. The 360 tried to do backwards compatibility, and it is backwards compatible, but it has just some really weird glitches and bugs. Even with some of the games,
work on it.
Yeah, even with some of the games that are backwards compatible, I think I've heard like there are games that they'll say are backwards compatible, but they still have like these you'll play the game and then later on there's just really weird glitches and stuff, and it's like I thought this was backwards compatible. What the fuck's going on? But it's I don't know. If the Xbox One can actually make it so that the entirety of the original Xbox's library is backwards compatible, that would be pretty cool. But I don't know. I don't see why you shouldn't just get an original Xbox in that case. I don't know. It's a cool feature to have, but yeah.
Can I go off of that point really quick?
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way that they're doing it now with like the 360 games, because doesn't it just make you download the application and all you need is the disc in order to play it?
I think so.
I wasn't sure how it worked.
Like, because if they do it like that, where like the application, they make an application for it for your original Xbox games, then you know, and you just need the disc in order to play it, then I think that could work very well.
Yeah,
especially because there's when you look at the Xbox 360 games that are being played at Xbox One, you know, there isn't much like visual changes. It might be like some you know, slight changes as far as like the visuals are concerned, as far as like you know, saturation and whatnot. But like frame rate and performance is what you see a big you know, change in. I think actually what was funny was that we were just talking about Red Dead Redemption. I think is actually more stable on the Xbox One in comparison to the 360, especially in certain sections where the game apparently had some dipping issues. But that's beside the point. If there were games that I would like to see like playable on the Xbox One, Shenmue 2, Genmo Onimusha, and I would want to say like the Otage games, maybe Tenchu as well. Yeah, just I can go on, but like Chaos said, I'd just like to see the entire list, because then we can play
okay.
Yeah, I don't see why they
Real
couldn't
quick.
do that either. I mean,
You know what's funny?
Hmm?
The original Xbox can play some games at 1080i, but the Xbox One we have right now can't even do that properly.
that is true. That is true. Yeah.
why is that? That's like
Because look,
strange.
this fucking whole Xbox thing, it kind of pisses me off, because the only news I ever get from Xbox is backwards compatibility shit. Is it a console?
They don't
or
have
a
anything else
backwards-
to talk about.
Is it a
Like-
console or a fucking backwards compatible box? 'Cause-
I mean, I ain't complaining. If I can play my older games on a better system, then I'll take that deal.
No, just
I-
give us
well,
some new
you gotta have
shit.
new games for it.
I like, I get where you're coming from, Reapers, too. Like, yeah, definitely we can't just keep getting backwards compatibility, you know, and not just get anything new. But at the same time, you know, I would argue that, you know, a lot of people like to complain about, you know, remasters of previous gen games, right? How we keep getting those remasters and nothing new, right? So to an extent, having the backwards compatibility enabled, that is a better thing, because then you don't have to expect, well, now there's going to be a remaster of this game. There's potential for a remaster for this game, you know? While in some cases remasters for previous gen games are good, because sometimes we get new content in them, but for the most part, I think a lot of people would agree that just having the backwards compatibility for those games and being able to play it on current gen hardware would just be a lot better, because then they just don't have to keep rebuying. But you're missing the point. They don't just have to keep rebuying the game if they already have it.
But who cares? This is the new gen, not fucking last gen.
Yeah, but
You're
the last
missing
gen
the
did
point,
backwards
though. It's like
compatibility as well.
It's new gen, yeah, sure, but this is also the gen where we keep getting, you know, remasters, and people keep complaining about remasters.
Okay.
So, you know, backwards compatibility, you know, while it's, you know, not necessarily a new concept or anything, it's a lot better than saying, oh, hey, here are like 16 new remasters. You've already played these on 360 or PS3. Have them again. You know,
Why? I don't. I want something new.
But you're missing the point.
Don is trying to say that if, you know, the remasters, we wouldn't need the remasters if these games are backwards compatible, because we could have sort of a visual upgrade and we could still play them on.
I mean, I get what he's saying. I don't care about remasters. I don't care about backwards compatibility. Just give me a new fucking game, a new concept, new IP.
See, I like backwards compatibility though, because I tend to play older games. I don't just play what's come out this year. I like playing older releases. So even games that came out in like 2012, where it's like, oh, that's an old game, you don't want to play that. I'm still curious about the story in the game, and I love playing those. So if it's backwards compatible, that's useful for gamers like me.
Okay,
That's great.
Yeah.
Here's my argument real quick. I think that as these consoles progress and as they take more features away, then that is definitely a detriment. We can't just simply look at these features they're taking away, like backwards compatibility and all this other stuff, and say that it's good for the console, because then that's when people come out of the woodwork and start saying that, well, this is why PC is better, because you guys are taking away mods, you guys are taking away backwards compatibility, all this stuff. So I don't agree if they strip the console features. But then again, people do like remasters. I understand some people don't. But it's just a mixed bag, I guess. The best thing they could do is to keep those features in, so people don't have to complain and say that, well, I have to go back to my old library, old system, because this is the only way I can play these games.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish that I can look into this doc and say, wow, Microsoft is making a new game that's interesting. But no, all I see is, oh, a couple more backwards compatible games. Like, okay, cool.
I'm kind of in the middle about this whole thing. Like, I like that there is backwards compatibility, but at the same time, I do agree with Reapers that there really needs to be more focus on like new IPs and stuff. And I feel like there is a little bit too much focus on trying to remaster older games, and that may be contributing to this whole kind of stagnation we're getting, and especially in the Xbox games marketplace.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody really disagrees with that. Yeah, like as far as like Microsoft is concerned, in comparison to Sony, and I mean they're doing a lot better than Nintendo, in comparison to the Wii U. But in comparison to Sony, and comparison to like Steam and just the PC player base in general, it's like they are very lacking as far as their competition is concerned. So I definitely get, yeah, we should be seeing more new IPs and whatnot, even if it's just, even if it's just stuff that it's like a sequel to something that's exclusive to the Xbox, and we haven't seen this in like decades or something like that. That's so much better than not seeing anything at all. But at the same time, it's like it's kind of like the whole cost thing of, why should people have to hold on to their old, consoles if they can just keep their old games and put it into their new hardware instead of having to buy remaster after remaster after remaster.
Mm-hmm.
Can I point out my problem with remasters?
No.
Okay, well, the problem I have with remasters, they only remaster good games. Why can't they remaster like horrible, awful games like Predator Concrete Jungle?
Yes.
That's what I'm excited about. Like,
like
Predator Concrete Jungle again. No, I want to be bad. I like bad games. They're entertaining in their badness.
Can we get a Ride to Hell remaster?
Yeah.
Don't do those.
Oh
No, you know what? That's something the Xbox could keep. Okay.
That game is magical.
Here's an unpopular opinion. Don't call a remaster if you just get an up-res and don't get good frame rate.
I do agree with that. Personally.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I would say, at that point, I would say it's a bad port.
I would just call it a port in general. Nothing special to it.
I like those remasters that add something new to the game instead of giving you like 1080p 60 FPS. I love that shit.
Yeah, we have a lot of those, but unfortunately, we don't have so many good remasters that actually add stuff. But I'm saying the other remasters are bad, but they need to add more for me to buy it personally.
Some of those remasters, depending on like the hardware they came out on, given what they are, because some people just want improved versions of those performance-wise, can be beneficial. But I think I would have to agree with Ren. Like the ones where you get like new content, and I always bring these two up. The Resident Evil 0 and Remake HD remasters, I like those so much because they added in new content. Even if it's not much new content, it's still new, and it's the little things that kind of count. Like if I saw that they decided to remaster, like I don't fucking know, like let for argument's sake, yeah, like Silent Hill again without Tom, but then they decided, hey, we're gonna bring back Team Silent. They're gonna add in new stuff, and yeah, if they did it that way, I'd be like, oh, cool.
I mean, I know you
be
can
good this time.
Yeah, like I know you can play the games on PC and that's great, but it would be fucking amazing if we did get a remaster of those games without the Tom Hewlett involved. Like seriously, like if there is ever a remaster we need, it is like a proper remaster of Silent Hills and also 4. Like all of them, just please. Like seriously, this I know Konami's never gonna fucking do it though, and that's what pisses me off as like a fan of that series. Like it's just gonna be so hard just to get those games to play in HD unless you have like a PC or something. So it's just a mess. But
That might actually be the worst remaster ever, though. Like if someone
Yeah,
can find
it
me a
was
worse one than
horrible.
that, I'm impressed because it was absolutely
it
awful.
was so bad because they tried to like Dom was. I find it hilarious because Dom was talking about like new content, and like I think this is an example of new content not being a good thing because they tried to change the game. Like the voice acting and the lines.
Oh, that's not new content. That's just being
well,
late
that's true. Yeah, that is. But
to pay royalties.
fucking Jesus Christ.
That's just not wanting to pay royalties to the actors.
Troy Baker as James Sunderland.
Fuck Troy Baker. Okay, Troy Baker. And I know this is divergent, but Troy Baker is nothing compared to Guy Seehee.
We're never
Controversial opinion.
we're never gonna get him now.
Yeah, we're never gonna get him on the podcast.
I don't
That's a lot,
care.
Dom.
He's a good voice actor.
Have you seen the Young Yeah interview with him?
Like he's good as a voice actor, but as a person, not so much.
TCP making a lot of enemies today.
Yeah.
Good podcast.
Dude,
Yeah,
Sean Baker
yeah.
doesn't care. about
Unintentional
us.
enemies.
Look, these are enemies from me, not from the TCP. These guys are not associated with me as of right now.
We're the sovereign nation.
Exactly. We're outer heaven. We're David Hayter. We're making a Metal Gear.
What?
I can't stop laughing now. I think we should move on to the next one.
I think Reapers wanted to take the next one, right?
Mr. Reapers?
No, I took this one. The Phil
Yeah,
Spencer.
he read
Oh,
the
okay.
the
So-
Xbox One.
What about Brandon?
Okay, never mind.
I mean, I'll read one if I know which one I'm supposed to be reading. We're skipping around.
Oh,
You
you
can
can
read
read
one
anything.
of it.
One.
Okay, hold on.
Mhm.
Just read the one that catches your eye.
Okay, go back to number 2. Sega has confirmed that the Western version of Yakuza 0 will not be localized. This means features such as the cat fighting, hostess clubs, and many other quote-unquote adult content found within the game will still be there. Any thoughts on this news?
That's fucking
That
great.
was actually a typo. I think that's supposed to be will be localized.
It
Will be localized.
Yeah, I was confused for a minute. I was like,
It's fucking
I'm just
great.
used
I
to
love
them
you.
not being and being depressed.
Yeah.
yeah.
Basically they were like Sega has been known to like cut out content from the Yakuza games. Yakuza 3 in particular had the hostess clubs cut out from them. But
Yeah.
but this one in particular, they're just like, let's go ham with the adult content, right? Let's have the cat fights, the hostess clubs, and all the other adult content.
I
in the
really didn't
game.
like it in 4. Like, I don't know about the other games, but I really didn't care for it in 4 because it was just
Oh no,
I felt
no!
like a
You're
chore.
thinking. I know what you're thinking of.
that we
Or-
managing
or-
the hostess club. It was
no.
so boring. I hated it.
Yeah, no. I know exactly which one you're thinking of. The sections with Akiyama where it's kind
Yeah.
of forced.
Yeah.
Not as fun
no,
as being on the
those were-
receiving end, eh?
Those were boring only because those were forced and mandatory. But in previous iterations, you were just if you wanted to go to a hostess club and blow all your money, you could. It was not really worth it, but if you wanted to, you could.
Pay
This
women
one's
to act
just
like
like
they like
taking.
you.
This one's like taking it a step further by like saying like, yeah, now you can see women that are scantily dressed and whatnot, and they're fighting with their titties and asses.
Dead or Alive Extreme.
Thank God Sega's doing this instead of fucking doing Sonic stuff all the time.
Exactly. Thank
Yeah.
you. Exactly.
Sonic is to make a cameo. Sonic and Yakuza.
Sonic
game.
makes a cameo in the hostess club.
Sonic is the hostess.
Oh, I would
That's
just
terrifying.
That's just no. That's just no. I
That was on
would
Sonic
just
Record
start
now?
like War
Nightmare
3
Fuel.
with Sonic fans. That just no.
Gotta go fast, right?
Oh, they going fast
Gotta
already.
go Fap.
But
Well, I guess I'll be left here alone. You guys all have fun. Did you want me to read the bullet points? Because I didn't.
Oh yeah, sure.
oh, if you wanted to, the bullet points are usually used for like. So if you want to read them
Man,
off,
I
you
don't
can.
know.
But
I'm just kind of happy because I mean, me personally, I like the Nintendo style games where it's very kid friendly because I gravitate towards those anyways. But I do definitely appreciate not basically dumbing down adult content because you're afraid of offending people, I guess.
Mhm.
So the fact that they're leaving it in, they're like, nope, I mean, he said it's going to be as quote raw as ever, and they're not going to cut out the adult, like truly adult stuff. Like I appreciate that because
Yeah.
I mean, actually, honestly, if you know anything about the Yakuza, it's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad they're actually doing that and not, caving in to social pressure of not, of people getting upset.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some other modern games like Chainsaw Lollipop Massacre.
Oh, Lollipop Chainsaw.
Oh yeah, I got
Well,
that mixed up a little bit, but yeah.
right, and I mean with like the Yakuza series, because I'm like a fan of the series. They're like when they're serious, they're serious and they know when to take themselves seriously. But most of the time, they're like over the top and really fucking silly, and I just love that. And I'm glad that they're keeping in like the adult stuff because gotta have a mix of everything.
Yeah. Anybody else
So,
have any opinions on that?
I've got something to point out. Like, I love that they're keeping the adult content in simply because it's great juxtaposition from when you fight like 100 million dudes in a street fight, and then you go spend all of your money paying women to be nice to you. That's a really good juxtaposition. I like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everyone's trying to pick a fight with you in that game. It's like they see their buddies get their ass handed to them. It's like, let's go fight this guy.
Have you played the first one where they're like
Fourth one.
he's like, what the fuck? And then they run up to you and then they start calling you a stupid old fuck. And
Oh man, this guy has like ridiculous martial arts skills. I better go fight him.
right.
He just broke that guy's back.
I really should stream one of the Yakuza games on the TCP channel.
I actually like,
great.
from what I heard of the English dub of the first game, it might be an unpopular opinion, but I kind of like the corniness.
So do I. So do I.
That's why people play it. It's the dumbest best.
Mark Hamill as Majima is great.
Oh, Mark Hamill
Mark
was in
Hamill is
that?
great.
Yeah,
ever,
Mark
like, in
Hamill.
any-
Dude!
Mark Hamill is the best.
Yes. Luke Skywalker. I'm buying that right now. Pulling out my credit card. I'm told me I can't.
I think I've made this bad pre-order. I've done my job.
I walked
It's
into
over.
chaos
End the
having a nerd
podcast.
moment.
So, I didn't know Mark Hamill was in that fucking game.
Yes, I know.
I could take the next question since we got to diverge a little bit.
It's fine.
So actually, I kind of want to talk about this one because it's kind of relevant. Capcom claims that Resident Evil 7 will reference previous entries in the series. What are your thoughts? To add on to your thoughts, there was a new trailer that kind of showcased it in like small little like tapes or volumes with a date that's slightly covered, and it kind of hints at a possible RE2 remake or just something Resident Evil related. There's an image in the doc if you guys want to click on it, and but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I do want to focus on the first portion of the question. Capcom, saying that is one of the dumbest things I have ever heard, because almost every Resident Evil game makes some sort of reference to previous iterations, whether it be in notes, whether it be in like certain pieces of dialogue. They have always made some sort of reference to previous iterations. So this is like one of the most like useless pieces of information they could have given fans. Outside of that, talking about the image, I think I figured it out. So basically,
get
if you're looking at it right now, they have like these little tape icons. Volume 1 and Volume 2 are underneath these, and there are dots filled in. And there are 10 dots in total. And I think what they're going to be doing is showcasing like 2 small little like videos every so often. And that's going to kind of bring us closer to whatever they're trying to hide, because as you can see, it says Resident Evil in quotation marks, and then there's like a bunch of dots over a date. I think that date is 2018. That's pretty likely.
It
And
certainly
if
doesn't
you,
look like a 7 at the end.
it really doesn't. And if you notice something too, there's a line dividing 2 and 0, and it's right after Resident Evil. So I'm thinking that that's also kind of hinting at RE2 Remake, only because of the way that they divided that. Like, I mean, why would you want to divide it that way unless if you're specifically hinting at 2? And one other thing that was kind of weird to me is that the line goes all the way down and it leads to this X at the bottom corner where it says Capcom, all rights reserved. So whether that's a reference to like Code Veronica X or Mr. X from Resident Evil 2 is beyond me, but I think that, this like whole arrow and just how this is all going, I think they're kind of leading slowly towards finally revealing something related to the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah, I think that X, the only thing it could be is a relation to Mr. X. I don't think it could be a number, because obviously if that game came out near like 2019, that'd be fucking ridiculous. But 2018 seems to make a lot of sense to me. Maybe next year will be a good time for them to showcase a lot of the game, considering the fact that Resident Evil 7 is coming out in January. So, I mean, after that game comes out, what are they going to do next? They're going to do Remake 2, obviously. So, these little hints here, maybe the tapes will show more. That's what I'm assuming. Each tape is going to lead up to maybe them going back to some flashbacks. Maybe this stuff will be pertinent in the game as well that you can discover. It'd be fucking cool if it was a hidden demo or something in the game where you could play the game after completion, and at least they have a build for us to judge. But so far, for the most part, I mean, RE7 is still not wowing me with some of the elements they're introducing. I don't know how that gunplay is going to work. I'm not sure how I feel about that. And all the other elements like the health, all that, it hasn't been really explained how a lot of the stuff is going to work in terms of the gameplay. They didn't show much gameplay. They just showed like the weapons being utilized in some format, and then they cut the video off. So
what? Really quick, I don't mean to cut you off, but what are your thoughts on just how they're claiming that it's going to have references to previous titles? I mean, how do you feel about that statement?
I think that it's not going to be great. It sounds like, personally, it's something that's going to be vague and not really explained too well, considering the fact that they already said that stuff that we care about, like key characters, aren't going to show up that often in this game. So, one of the tapes, right, where the character goes to pick up the phone and they get a phone call, I assume that maybe it's going to be, oh, well, there was a character that was in previous RE games that you talked to on the phone, and it's going to be just kind of boring. So I think it's going to turn out vague in the end.
So basically very loose connections.
You gonna order pizza?
Yeah, very loose connections is something I'm expecting for this game. I'm not expecting like full-blown cameos unless they're in tapes.
Well, I mean, the game, the part of the appeal of the game was that they were kind of completely deviating from the standard Resident Evil format, and so maybe people, I don't know, if they released a statement, maybe people were kind of getting nervous that it was going to be too far of a departure. So that's like a reassurance. No, it's still part of the series, and we're going to have Easter eggs in there to tie it back. So it's not just a complete departure from what you already know and love.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of like kind of pulling it back a little bit. Like, yep, it's totally different, except it's not going to be too different.
Yeah, I mean, like, we've seen games like RE4 put in stuff like the typewriters and certain elements that were in the previous RE games. But again, I think this is the biggest departure in terms of seeing something like this, because at least in RE4's case, we had a lot to go off of when they were announcing it. the betas, we had everything in regards to the alpha gameplay. This, not so much. And I can understand people saying, well, you don't want to spoil too much of your game because people aren't going to be interested. But at the same time, it hasn't been a trailer of RE7 that really wowed me, that really captivated me.
Could I go off of that really quick?
Go ahead.
It's like I was talking to a friend about this earlier today. It's like, people are like really hyping this game up, right? And, it's fine if they like the game, if they're interested in it and whatnot. That's totally fine. But, we're talking about Capcom. And every time they try something new, it either does all right or it turns out to be complete and utter ass. And, it's something that I think people need to be a lot more cautious instead of being like, yeah, this is so fucking hype because we have a demo that makes you just sit down and push a camera. Like, it's just an utter joke. And I think that, and that's in reference to the kitchen demo that was just released. But, like stuff like that, it's like, the more I hear about RE7 and the hands-on that I had at the Resident Evil 7 event, Resident Evil 20th anniversary event, where I got to play the Lantern build, like I said before, I mean, I'm pretty sure I said it on air before, the Resident Evil 7 Lantern build was about as unimpressive to watch as it is to play, or unimpressive to play as it is to watch, because, even if you didn't know what you were supposed to do, or I'm sorry, not supposed to do, but even if you didn't watch that trailer, it's pretty predictable, and I try to take my time with that. So it's kind of, to me, it's like whatever Capcom is trying to do, they've really failed at trying to impress me at this point. I can't be impressed. Well, whatever they keep trying to do, it's like it's too late. I've already made up my mind with all.
The last thing I'll say is I don't think they're going to escape the Outlast boom. To be honest, that game looks exactly like Outlast to me, in my opinion.
It's like I said before, it's just an amalgamation of everything that came before it, and just, well, pretty much everything that's trending now in terms of the horror games. It's Outlast, it's Amnesia, it's PT. I've seen elements of all that in 7, and it doesn't look like it really has an identity of its own.
Mm-hmm. On the side note, Outlast 2 looks fucking amazing.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Still need to play that demo.
I'm not very impressed, to be quite honest.
Don't let the demo discourage you, because it's exactly the same as on the PAX demo.
I'm gonna wait for the reviews, but just from what I saw of the demo, it's I don't know.
To anybody out there, if you've seen the PAX demo, you know what happens in the playable demo. Just saying.
Yeah, you do. You get your.
That's kind of bad if it hasn't changed much.
I mean, it looks fucking amazing though. Graphics.
It looks good. Yeah, I mean, the first game did look good graphically too. I'll give it that.
Could look better, admittedly, though. But
it's also very dark, and you can't see much of anything most of the time.
That's kind of the point.
That's how most horror games are. It's gonna kind of be dark.
You get a flashlight with batteries in it, you know.
Yeah.
I've seen worse lit games, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say all horror games are like, but so a good handful of them are pretty dark.
Okay.
I was saying a good handful of them are. I wouldn't say all of them are.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we can move on to the next one. I guess I'll take one out of trivia, if people don't mind. So I'm gonna do number 2 on trivia. We've heard a lot about the NX rumors lately, about the NX being a mobile console hybrid, but we're going to touch on a topic more important than the rumors. Nintendo has mostly been overshadowed when it comes to this console generation in particular. In order to be the top dog in the industry again, what mistakes do you believe Nintendo should avoid that they're doing now that they have the tendency to do often these days?
Everything past the GameCube.
Fucking console.
Better games, better controller.
Better business, better everything.
Yeah, the most horrible decision ever with the Wii U was calling it the Wii U and adding a new controller.
Was an add-on.
it was pretty much an add-on. People were so confused. It's like they went from like 480 to 1080, and
It's
people didn't even know
720,
that.
actually. It's not even 1080.
Yeah, it's I don't
it's
think
720.
yeah, it's 720.
They still went HD, and no one even
Yeah.
realized that. It was.
I go ahead, Jake.
They also didn't have too many great launch titles. That was another
No.
big issue.
Yeah, I think the problem, well, there's three big problems in my opinion. Number one is definitely the disconnect of audiences. Like, Nintendo, I mean, during the Wii era, they did focus a lot on giving, like, mature gamers their content, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of adult-oriented stuff anymore. It seems like there's a lot of stuff tailored to kids, and, that's fine, but it doesn't hit every demographic of what they want. And this ties into the second question, which is the third-party support. In the Wii U's life cycle, every developer dished it like during mid-cycle, and that's crazy because Nintendo again is not willing to innovate sometimes in terms of like technology, and that's a problem.
No, they didn't innovate, but for the wrong reasons.
Can
Right.
I take up?
Well, really quickly, Brandon, I wanted to go on my last point actually. Everything seems gimmicky. Like, it's always, they try to innovate from the Wii because that was successful, and then they try to go to touchscreen, and now it's like they are losing their identity because the console on the NX is now this hybrid of having these controllers on the side. Now it's a mobile console. Now it's a console hybrid. It's like they can't make up their minds, and it's going to hurt that system in the long run.
It's a toaster now.
Yeah.
There is a Nintoaster.
It's
Yeah, believe it or not, there's an actual
Yeah.
NES that toasts toast.
Isn't
Wait,
that-
really? I thought you were
amazing.
joking.
Yeah, you can
Angry
play
video game,
NES
right?
games and toast your bread.
I want
That's
that.
amazing. I want to have
Where
that.
do I get this?
Shut up.
Yeah,
take my
really.
money.
But yeah, yes, I heard some people brought it up. I think Reaper brought up, like, the controller, and then Brandon brought up like the gimmicks and whatnot. And yeah, I absolutely agree. It's like, for one, they can't. They always have some kind of gimmick with their controller. What was wrong with the GameCube controller? I mean,
I love
why
the
couldn't they
GameCube
just,
controller.
I like
maybe
that.
update that and just, port it over to the Wii and then the Wii U? I don't see what was so hard about doing that.
Right.
But
Yeah, because
they went from that to motion controls, which everyone got on the train for because they thought it was going to be the biggest thing, and it didn't. And then we had the Wii U, which has a giant touchpad, which comes standard with the console, and if it breaks, you have to contact Nintendo to replace it and pay like $150 for it or something like that, and not actually be able to buy a separate one, or not have just a standard controller that it's almost like the Nintendo Wii U Pro controllers, the 360
Pro.
controller clones. Like they couldn't do that. Like it's a joke. It's a mess. And then the other thing too, and I think Ren was really going into this too, is like how developers were kind of ditching this the Wii U, at least mid life cycle, right?
Yeah.
The biggest problem with that was that a lot of the developers were looking for, well, a lot of people aren't buying this console, so why should we even develop a game for this? But at the same time, it kind of goes both ways. You're not really making games for the console. Nobody's going to want to buy the console because there's nothing, for the
There's
console.
another reason as well, because the console itself is weak. Because I remember I remember, like, what was it, the Metroid Last Light developers saying they couldn't port over that game to the Wii U because the processor or something was too weak for the game to run on that system. So
Yeah,
they- What?
and that's the thing too. It's like the hardware was outdated. It wasn't meant to run on games or run games that were that could be ran on like the Xbox One or the PS4.
Actually,
So-
I feel like this. The Wii is a glorified GameCube. The Wii U is what the Wii should have been for last generation. There.
It's like when you look at the Microsoft and like in regards to the controllers, when you look at the Microsoft and Sony controllers, they have changed over the years. They still kept the same design,
The
same
core.
design in mind.
Yeah, the core design of it.
When you look at Nintendo, like it's kind of all over the place, and they were trying to do something different with the motion controls, and that's what kind of really got the Wii off the ground. But then people, I think the sales kind of went, that they didn't have the library, that the other consoles had, and that's what I felt like they needed to really address with the Wii U. And I think they really kind of put the final nail in the coffin when that system launched, because that game didn't have the launch titles. It didn't have any good launch titles, and it just doesn't have the same library that the other two consoles had, and it didn't have that multi-platform support or third-party support. So I really, and the hardware was still weak. That was a problem the Wii had as well, as it had the weakest hardware. And it's the same problem with the Wii U. It has the weakest hardware. And, while it does have some good games on there, there's just not nearly enough to make any sort of purchase of the system, to really make somebody want to get that system. And not to mention the whole thing with the controller about how if you break it, you need to pay $150 to have it replaced. And the battery life is terrible. So there's really not a lot of reasons to want to get this system, and then you decide not even, we're not even done with the next gen or the current gen yet, and you're already trying to get another console to try to fix the problems you had with the last one. And this console, if anything, it seems like it's going to be even worse in terms of the gimmicks. And it's just like, it seems like they really haven't learned from their mistakes. So they've just screwed themselves. I mean, there's no way around it. I think they really should have thought more about what they were doing with the Wii U, and they just put that out. And now they're kind of screwed. They're in a bad position. They're in a pickle. Like, they can't really get themselves out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I absolutely agree.
Real quick.
Okay.
If Nintendo was smart, they should have capitalized on the GameCube controller, because people really love that controller. So they could just do some.
I don't think it would have been enough though.
I know,
They
but
tried
as
to
far
with
as
Smash
far
4.
yeah, that's the thing though. If they actually made full GameCube controller support for a lot of games, that could have done something for the Wii U, at least in general.
I like
But
to
no,
pose a
they're
question.
I was gonna.
Go ahead, Dom.
Yeah, I was gonna finish up because I was gonna making before we close off on this question. As far as the gimmicks are concerned, it's it's all it is that they keep looking for gimmicks, and that's what they focus on with their consoles. They're more focused on the gimmicks than the performance. And I've always stated that if Nintendo would at least make something on par with the Xbox One, the initial release, they would have at least had something to, they wouldn't have to worry so much about the performance so much, because we're seeing games that, are coming out for both PS4 and Xbox One, and they're doing, just as fine or slightly underperform on Xbox One, depending on the game. But at the end of the day, they would have had something, that would have been hey, Nintendo's actually learning from their past mistakes. They're trying to, keep up with the competition. And the other thing too is that they really need to break away from just doing, these family-friendly games. People like those games. Nobody's going to deny that. But if people saw that they made the effort to also kind of release stuff that was, dedicated to mature audiences, then, or even, teenage audiences, they would be able to kind of make up those losses, and learn from their mistakes. But they continue to choose not to.
I just wanted to pose a quick question. Do you think that the NX is sort of trying to appeal to iOS gamers because of the touchscreen and the mobile capability?
Yeah, because they're trying to attract a casual market. That's what they tried to do with the Wii, with the whole motion controls and it being more of a family-oriented system. Because if you remember from the advertisements for the Wii, it prominently featured just families playing the Wii and using the motion controls and all that. So I feel like that's where they were, the idea they had in mind with that controller.
Because I was thinking about something in the back of my head, and since Pokemon Go was a fad, I was thinking maybe they could release a game for the NX similar to that style if it's a mobile console hybrid and make tons of money. That would be a scumbag move, but I expect them to do something like this because
that'd be the only way they could get out of the, what's going on right now.
Yeah, because a lot of companies, they put a lot of stock into mobile, and the only really popular things is stuff like Pokemon Go, so I could imagine them doing something like that for the NX.
Could I play devil's advocate for a moment?
Go ahead.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't actually think that Nintendo is doing phone gamers. I believe they're actually trying to combine their 3DS and home console. Well, I think they're trying to do is they don't like they sell their platforms based on first party games. They can't track third parties. They haven't been out for ages. That's basically just how it is now. Mm-hmm. So what I think they're trying to do is because the 3DS does well. 3DS sells games, actually has third parties on it, surprisingly. So I think what they're trying to do is if they can combine those two divisions into the NX, because it's obviously portable, it's also a home console, they can then actually get enough games out to sell it purely on first parties. And then if it's, quality enough and it's selling enough copies, because it is basically the new level of 3DS, it could probably go ahead and get those third parties in if they build enough confidence with their first party spot.
Yeah, I can see that point. Because
they would have to have a really good selection of first party games, though. That's the thing.
If they have those 3DS teams on that, I think then they would be able. I think they'd manage.
Mm.
I don't get
they're
why
gonna
fuck.
start going after the market of casual gamers too. A lot of the systems don't really focus on that. So as far as pulling their numbers up, that would be a great way to do it.
I don't get why fucking Nintendo just doesn't fucking put more effort into their games like they do with their 3DS games. I mean, I have way more fun playing with my 3DS than I do the Wii U, which I own.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, 3DS is definitely more popular.
Instead of making a hybrid, since the 3DS is selling so well, why don't you just, put the developers who have making 3DS games and make them do your console game?
Well, they're basically trying to do both.
Right.
Think.
It'd be maybe an interesting concept to kind of go off of that, Reapers. If they made, instead of a quote unquote, like, I wouldn't say mobile hybrid, but like more of like this weird like thing where you can like take off the controllers and take it all over the place or whatever. Maybe make a console that, not only supports like say, whether it be Wii U games or whether it's own particular platform, right? Also something that allows you to, just stick in your 3DS games and play it on the console on a larger upscaled screen, with potentially a touchpad or something like that. I mean, I think that would be like a lot better because then you not only be able to play 3DS games, but you would also be able to play the console games that the hardware is dedicated for.
That would be a lot better. I don't think that it would be what most of the gamers want. I don't think gamers want a hybrid. They just want a console.
I mean, it's an interesting idea, but yeah, that's true. Go ahead.
Real quick, if there was one game that was on the NX that will make you buy NX, what game would that be?
Pokemon.
Breath of the Wild.
For me, it would be a big budget Project Crossover game. That will make me get one.
Project Crossover on console. I'd fucking play it.
I think Breath of the Wild is on the NX as well. I think it's getting ported. Yeah.
That's going to be a big selling point for the Wii.
Yeah, I think because of that, a lot of people are going to look forward to it. But again, I do see the points of everyone else. They do need more.
Something earlier too.
Oh, you can.
Oh, sorry.
A Metroid game. A Metroid game.
Oh yeah, definitely that.
A good Metroid game, not fucking that garbage.
I think I cut out a bit, but you can go ahead, Dom.
So I think we can move on to the topic, right? I think we.
You want to talk about what you posted in the chat?
Yeah. This was actually supposed to be a question in the doc, 2 separate articles for it. But apparently there are a group of voice actors going on strike. I don't know exactly what they're going on strike for, but to kind of list off some of the companies they're going on, the companies they're kind of going after, Activision, Blindlight, Corp of Discovery Films, Disney Character Voices Incorporated, EA, Formosa Interactive. I've never. Insomniac Games, Interactive Associates, Take-Two Interactive Software, VoiceWorks Production Incorporated, and WB Games.
Damn.
That's a lot.
I'm guessing it's a strike just because they're maybe not being paid fairly, or maybe just
That's
fair
what I
working
was
conditions. Yeah.
Do you guys know how
Royalties
these
too, I
unions
assume.
work?
They did
Yeah,
something
big.
like they did something like this before, I think, where video game voice actors or anime voice actors were on strike. I think just for higher
2014, I
pay.
believe.
I actually think Troy Baker was a part of that too, though.
Man, he
Okay,
takes
so-
all the money, and why need he go on strike for?
I don't
Okay,
know.
so with most of these entertainment unions, and this is across all levels for like, and I mean, I have friends that are actors and then also like costuming. So it's like it's every level of production for a lot of the entertainment industry. You can't join the union without being hired for something, but you're at a disadvantage to get hired because you're non-union generally. Dude, if anybody out there is looking to try to get into voice acting, this is the prime time to start trying to.
Don't be a scab. Scabs are traitors.
That's the way to do it, though, is you have to take advantage of stuff like this because you have to be hired and have a job that would be union recognized before you can become a part of the union.
Really
So
quick, I posted.
potentially, if this goes too long, that's what the employers will do is start reaching out to non-union voice actors.
Yeah, I don't like the strikes never really do anything, so I don't really think it's going to be any different here. I just kind of think I won't say it's pointless, but it's I think it's really not going to get any results. I could be wrong, but
You think it's just more of a gesture?
probably.
I really want to point out something really quick. This was all quoted in the article. Posted all this. So it looks like they are going after like a national board of directors or something like that, and they're bringing up things like DLC. You can read all that jargon if you'd like, but it kind of goes in depth as to why they want to go on strike. So does anybody else have anything to add?
Reading what it says down there, basically just seems like it's fact that they appear to be, using people's likeness and previous clips that they used in parts of games in DLC, and then I assume they're not getting paid royalties for that, and that's probably what it's about, which I assume is pretty justified.
I mean, I think that if there's already games that are almost finished with production, this could really screw them over if they really do strike. But it doesn't. If you're, just starting or just casting a video game, it's just like, okay, well, we'll cast other people then. So
Yeah.
it just depends. It just depends for each publisher where they are in production for different games, how hard it's going to hit them.
Right. Yeah, if it's like a known actor, then yeah, that could hurt them. But
Right.
if it's like somebody who's either just starting out or not very known, it's not going to be a big deal. Anybody else have anything to say about it?
How about Ren? You got any opinions on this?
Nope, I don't have many opinions on this.
No, just good luck to you voice actors out there, and
Reapers, you have a chance.
We
man.
all
Go
know
get
that
famous.
Ren's an aspiring voice
Have a
actor.
what?
So
Oh,
Go
okay.
get famous, Reapers. You have a chance.
yeah, I'm companies out there. My voice is pretty manly, pretty sexy.
The translation
Well,
there is fucking pay me.
That's right.
Basically,
Wow.
translation Atlas, suck your dick. That's what he's trying to say.
No, I won't do that. Just make me the protagonist of your next game, and
Where you don't speak.
call my agent. Yeah, I'll do the text.
you can
Yeah,
be the
I'm
next.
the agent, call me.
Jen-
I would fucking love to write for Atlas. That'd be amazing.
So, who wants to take on the next question?
I'll do Dark Souls. I'll do the number 3 if you'd like.
Oh.
Alright, so Dark Souls 3 is getting a large patch soon. The patch will be making poison in the game, among other things. What are your thoughts on these patch notes, and do you think there's anything else that needs to be patched? Other than poise, which should be added into the game rather than being in at all.
Yeah, I have one to add. There's a glitch that I've experienced in my game. Actually, two glitches. One where after you get to a certain point in the game, the sky pretty much turns red, like for most of the game area.
Bloodborne?
No, Dark Souls.
It does.
Is it a cool? Wait, Dom, is it a cool red or is it like glitchy red?
No, it's fucking no. It's no.
I was just saying that was something Bloodborne. So it's like, oh, the game's Bloodborne now.
No. Same development team, though. So,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, basically, that doesn't happen in my game. It got glitched to the point where only certain areas are like that, and certain areas aren't. Specifically, the beginning area. But the one that's actually kind of game breaking is I'm right outside the Nameless King boss door, right? If I go into that boss room, that boss will not show up, and I cannot fight that boss at all. And the skybox is also really glitched. All the fog is gone. So I can't fight that boss at all, and that's something that really needs to be fixed. I've tried uninstalling and reinstalling the game, and that has not done anything to, improve the problems or anything like that. So that's one personal fix that I'd like to see happen.
Yeah, I don't have any opinions on this. I haven't played. It's been a while since I played Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, I've only played the first one.
Yeah.
Damn, you guys are missing out.
The only thing I'd like to see dealt with a little bit is the fact that a lot of the time when you're fighting regular enemies, they can just unlock you, but I assume that'd be fixed with poise, unless poise just is still really weak even after the patch. I'm worried about what will happen to the PvP meta after this, because I don't go, and it'll probably go back to being magic, and then I'll never be able to play the game again.
Yeah, there are some patch notes in the bullet points, but not all of them are there. There's a huge list, so if you want to take a look at the article later, I can link it to you.
Yeah, that'd be good to look at.
Mm-hmm. So why don't we have the next question?
Who?
Jake.
I could read one because I haven't read one yet at all.
I don't think Jake's read one either.
No, okay, I'll just go. Well, I'll talk about the PSVR.
Dang it, took mine.
It's all right. We all have so many more things to talk about. But the PSVR is outselling the HTC Vive and Oculus Rift. Given the success of the hardware, it is more likely that Sony will support the hardware in the future. With this news, would you be more inclined to purchase a PSVR now? And this, no, that's my point too.
Yeah,
it's because you have to have a PS4 to even deal with this, and it's not going to be as powerful. I'm not sure the exact specs, but I don't think it's going to be as powerful as the Vive will be in general, because that's going to be hooked up to a computer that needs all of this stuff.
Hey, no, actually, I want to bring this up real quick. Did you know that you can actually use it on your Xbox One and Wii U via cinema mode?
Really?
Yeah. Digital
I think you brought that up to me earlier.
Who, me?
Yeah, you brought that up the other day or something like that.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool though, but I have a feeling that Sony will patch that out. So use it while you can.
You guys see all the cords for that shit? It's like
yeah.
You gotta have the PS4 on as well too, so you gotta have both systems on and all those wires.
Ren, you forget I had that shit on my face for like 11 minutes.
That's gonna cause chaos. Someone's gonna like trip over and shit.
Right here, bro.
Let me okay.
So wait, does it feel uncomfortable or something to wear that?
No, actually, no. Let me explain. Because I think I'm the only one that might have had hands on.
There's gonna be so many things that are being quoted out of context that are gonna be glorious.
I've used the Vive, not the PS4 though.
Yeah. So I had hands on with the VR a while back in like September. I played, and I think I mentioned this earlier, I played the RE7 Lantern demo. But the headset's super comfortable. I like it. Honestly, I didn't even notice that it was on my head half the time. It's kind of awkward to like turn and stuff because you're kind of like, it's kind of mandatory that you like turn your head and whatnot, and that's kind of weird. And I'm sure if like I used it on a regular basis, I'd get used to something like that. But you know, when I was using it, I was just like, oh, okay, I can turn my head, but I don't really feel like I need to do it. So I liked it, but I've only played one game on it, and I don't feel like a $400 investment is worth it just because I played one game on the PlayStation VR. I would have to play like the entire library to see like if I would like it or not, or at least see some games that would potentially interest me. And right now I don't see anything that interests me for PlayStation VR.
Yeah, I could say the same thing about VR in general. There's just
like if they
That's a
patched VR support into like Rainbow Six Siege, like Sony can take my money right now.
You can play
That would be
Res
cool.
in VR.
Yeah. What was it? Res Infinite?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Other than that, not much.
yeah, exactly.
I
I think Ace Combat 2 or something like that.
Okay,
thing-
that's cool though.
and then the bird game's VR.
Oh, Ubisoft's Bird game.
Bird game.
The main thing is there's so many companies out there that are not wanting to take the risk on VR, and those companies can make great games, but they don't want to risk what they have right now for a solid game that they can make for the consoles that are currently like doing well for like PC or PS4 just itself and not VR. So by going out on a limb and then failing, a lot of companies, especially like on the smaller indie side, can go gone and just be bankrupt because of it failing.
It's
Yeah,
too, it's too early to tell, to be honest. If VR is going to take off or not. I mean, it's been getting good reviews, but at the same time, it's not for everyone because people have been getting motion sickness. So I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't want this thing on my head for like more than an hour, and I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I just, it doesn't have that first party impact that I'm seeing from a lot of games like last generation, where the game started to really ramp up at the end of the life cycle, or mid life cycle rather, because the PS3 had a lot to offer. So they don't have that sort of impact to me in terms of VR. I need the games. I can't just deal with, I can have sex with my anime waifu in VR.
It's funny you
There's a
bring
market
that
for
up.
that.
There's a lot of VR talk in the doc. But I actually, if you don't mind me diverging, it's kind of to add on to this topic since we are talking about it. It was the trivia question that I made. And it is, do you think that developers, that if developers focus too much on VR, that the quality of their games may diminish or feel gimmicky due to a majority of the focus during development being focused on or being put into VR specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I would. It's probably obviously not going to be the case for all developers, but I think if you spend too much time in one thing like VR, you probably will, the quality will probably diminish for your other projects. But I don't know. It's I think it just varies. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's gonna
would say
vary company to company.
yeah.
I would say that's very true. If we're going to talk specific IPs, I would say because I played RE7, especially with VR, it just kind of feels like they only really made that game because VR was coming out, not because they wanted to make a new Resident Evil game.
Yeah. They're basically trying to capitalize off of it.
But and that's something that I think is kind of worrisome when you see like a company or a development studio, they want to make a new IP, and that's cool and all, but it's like, what is the focus being put onto? Is it being put onto the new hardware, or is it being put into the quality of the game?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing I see with most VR games. It's more just there because VR and not so much because they wanted to make a decent game.
Mhm.
So,
Does anybody else have anything to add on?
No.
I mean, not really. I said my piece. It's something that they need a lot more games to work in VR, because there's always that skepticism of something not working if it's a gimmick or something not panning out to a lot of people's favor. I mean, it is expensive too, so it's almost as much as a PlayStation 4 base. Or if I think, how much is it exactly? Is it like 400 or 300?
It's $400 flat,
400.
and then there's
So-
a $500 bundle with it that comes with the PlayStation Eye and PlayStation Move controller.
So
Dildos.
So it's just as much as a PS4. I mean, the option to some people might be, why don't I just get a PS4 instead of like a VR headset? It might blow their mind, and they go with like the obvious choice of getting like a console over VR. So it just, I don't know. I just don't think it's ideal for a lot of folks at the moment. There's really no incentive to go out there and say, hey, there's this killer VR app headset that you need to have that has like a bundle of games that are worth playing. So far, a lot of their first party stuff has been not that great in terms of the trailer and gameplay. Even the advertising is like very, very small. So it's not something that I personally would go out and like buy myself. As for it being a gimmick, I mean, yeah, it can turn into one, because we all seen how the Kinect turned out. That was pretty terrible times, if you ask
What's a
me.
Kinect?
You know, it's funny is that the Kinect is a better medical device than it is an actual gaming device.
Just like the Jaguar.
I'm not surprised at that, actually. But yeah, stuff like that, we just have to wait and see. This is all a wait and see affair. If it turns out well, that's great for Sony. They have a peripheral like worth a damn, but if it doesn't turn out well, then a lot of people are gonna forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we could move on to the next one. So I haven't read one, you know what, in a while.
I haven't ever read one at all, so can I go?
Oh well, go ahead, Brendan.
Okay. Rocksteady is apparently air quotes moving on from the Arkham series entirely after Batman Arkham VR. What would you like to see Rocksteady tackle next in terms of new superhero entry or new game entirely? As far as superheroes is concerned, I don't know, make a Flash game or a Superman game that's actually good. That's not Superman 64.
Superman might be hard though. He's OP, man.
Oh man, no, he fights Brainiac in space. Like, come on, man, it writes itself.
Yeah, it does, but
What about? I mean, I'm not too familiar with DC, but like, what about like the Flash, or maybe like doing like a Teen Titans beat 'em up or something like that. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, I mean,
New
either that or they.
Teen Titans or old Teen Titans?
Old Teen
Titans.
Titans.
Go.
Fuck the new
Okay, good.
Teen Titans.
Teen Titans. Go.
New
I
cartoon
mean,
bullshit.
either that or just do something completely different that isn't superhero related, like just their own thing.
Oh yeah,
That'd be cool.
that too.
And that'd be cool though, but
I don't
I
know,
want to see a
new
little bit more
ideas.
superhero
That's
drama.
crazy
That's
talk.
different.
The Green Lantern universe is pretty.
Hey,
diverse.
what about Aquaman? You can call fish.
Oh come on, Phil.
I mean, he can call it
I
Kraken.
mean,
So
if they modeled the character after that new guy, that the guy
Jason
from Game
Momoa?
of Thrones,
You mean
I
Khal
mean,
Drogo?
I would be okay with that. Yeah, that'd
Chaos.
be catering to the female audience.
Okay, yes, man, he can summon a Kraken, so that could work.
Well, he sleeps with Daenerys Targaryen in Game of Thrones, so
I mean,
Yeah.
she's
He also dies because he rubbed shit into his wound.
Yeah, it
so
didn't turn out well enough for him in there. But it's
Game
awful,
of
man.
Thrones spoilers. I'm just warning everyone. now.
If they don't know about
That's-
that yet, then they're probably never gonna watch it.
He doesn't die. I'm just gonna say that.
He gets to play with puppies and kittens and have a great time. Yeah, but no, if they made an Aquaman where it's modeled after that one and not like the traditional, what is it, blonde-haired comic book style one?
Yeah.
it probably
Yeah.
actually would work pretty well, especially among female gamers.
He looks
That's
like
Basically, looks like the dude from SpongeBob. The fucking.
He-
Right.
he
No,
looks like
don't
that in a
go
lot of the
there.
shows too.
No. Have the barnacle boy or whatever.
Yeah, that
it
was
is.
like making fun of Aquaman.
I'm trying to think. Superheroes I want to see Rocksteady do.
I think they do a fantastic Daredevil game. With
Yeah,
the exact same gameplay.
Yeah, if we were thinking of Marvel, I would love to see them do like Daredevil or Blade. That would be fun.
I could see Daredevil.
Yes.
That is.
We haven't
if
really
Warner
had.
Brothers
I think
let
we
them-
did have a Blade game, but I don't remember.
I think it sucked.
Yeah. So we do need a good Blade game. We don't really have a Daredevil game either. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think
We
we
were
do.
supposed to get one, and then it got canned.
Yeah, that too.
It probably would have sucked anyway, admittedly. So,
But isn't Rocksteady owned by WB Games?
yes.
So
Think
yeah,
so.
they wouldn't be able to do a
Oh,
Marvel.
that's
I mean,
right,
if
yeah.
they make a good deal, then I'm sure they can because, well, Warner Brothers owns the license to all the Lego games and they make the Marvel games. So, I mean,
Oh, they do?
Money talks, so I mean, they probably can.
All right.
And-
Okay.
Disney comes in with a big fat check, like saying, "Here, make us a game."
Also, yeah, I was throwing out like hypotheticals. If they did get like Marvel licenses, I'd be fine. But for DC, I can't think of many people outside of just Batman that they could do a game on. There was this game that they did like a little while back. This was way before like the Arkham games called Urban Chaos. It was a first-person shooter where you can go around and like shoot all these criminals.
Oh, I remember that.
Renegade, was that bundle in Blood Money? Because I think I remember playing that.
Yes, it was. It was.
That was a fun game.
The game was fun. The gameplay was fun. It was great, shooting these criminals up as a cop. I think that would be an interesting concept if they go back and revisit it for the modern era.
But with the Punisher.
Oh, the Punisher would be absolutely fantastic. I would love that too.
They already had an amazing Punisher game, but I would
Yeah.
like to see it.
That Green Lantern universe, though, is pretty diverse.
Oh, of course.
Definitely
Yeah,
do
they
a lot
could
with
do
that.
Yeah, a Green Lantern game would be a good one. Would be nice.
Yeah, let's not talk about the movie.
Oh, not the
license
movie game.
Let's not talk about
That one is kind of horrible if you're drunk.
Right.
Ride to Hell is entertaining if you're high.
Oh.
I think most anything is though.
Yeah.
But that was a
Uh,
great topic. I think we can move
I
on.
could, I could take on the next question.
Good.
So I actually want to do a niche question to kind of break away from some of the more main questions. So I'm going to do number 4. Berserk has a 7-minute gameplay video showcasing the first mission with Guts. Any thoughts on the gameplay? Berserk is also receiving more DLC costume plus DLC mounts, one dedicated specifically to Berserk, while 2 others are based on Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors mounts. And there are images down below. But that said, I watched the gameplay. It was pretty hype. But still unfortunate that the game is 1080-30, but it's looking like it's going to be all right. I just want to see more and hopefully get some hands-on with that.
Yeah, for me, I'm really excited for this game. It looks really quality, and it'll be a good replacement for the Berserk anime.
See, people say that, and then you look into like a lot of people say that the 2016 anime is unfaithful and whatnot, but then you look and see that the actual creators supervised that anime. So
Oh yeah, it just looks horrible.
yeah,
It does.
It does look horrible, but it
looks
was
like gas.
yeah, especially the first 3 episodes. Jeez, but and then the same thing too. It's like, people are saying, well, the game is somehow going to be better than the anime, which is a completely different medium altogether. But that animation studio is also helping out with the voice acting and some of the cutscenes for that game. So
Hopefully
Yeah,
they're not low
that's-
frame rate like the anime.
Yeah, like I like my problem with the anime is it just doesn't look very good, and I'd rather just read the manga, and every time a volume comes out every 10 years.
I just wish like they would have stuck with animation and not CG. I don't know. I mean, the movies, like, I don't know. I haven't seen the movies, but from what I've seen of like some of the scenes from the movies, it doesn't look too bad. And I think that there was some CG in there, but it wasn't as horrible as from what I saw the new series.
The movies
So,
are on a higher budget than the anime, I think.
I mean, yeah, I know, but
But yeah, overall, the game.
I don't really have any opinions on this, though. I don't really. I still have yet to see the original series. So
Oh, we were just talking about the game, though.
yeah, I know.
Anyone else?
I don't really. Yeah, if I haven't seen the show, so I don't really have any context for any of this shit.
All you need to know is that Griffith did nothing wrong.
I know about that
at
though.
all.
Unfortunately,
You
Stop lying to
fucker.
this man. Stop lying to this
God.
guy.
Every time I say that, it always gets a response from Beth.
Jesus.
And
What you can
stop
give.
trying to get his riled up, please.
Just hearing about that, it's like, why?
Well, I have a worse joke. I mean, it was an inside job.
Get
Guts planned it.
Wow.
Guts, it was all a prank. You're being recorded. Oh, man.
Intended-
It's just a prank, bro.
Oh, but we are diverging. So, Ren, you want to take on the next question? I would suggest maybe taking a niche question before we go back to main topics.
Sure, I can do that. So let me see here. What is interesting? Oh, of course. Alright, I'll do number one. So, Sakura Wars creator is prepping for a new game. Have you played the Sakura Wars games, and would you be interested in playing a new game within the franchise? I have no idea what this is, but I assume
Of course you don't. You
Yeah,
don't like
somebody
good
can explain
games.
what this is.
I-
I don't know what it is either.
I assume
Man,
it has to do
I'll-
with the
It's
Japanese.
a fucking mech game. It's fucking awesome.
It's a mech game. Okay, man, Gundam's better.
Okay. To clarify, if Sageta Sanshiro isn't in there, I don't give a fuck.
It's a
I
dating
need-
sim / mech game, and it's
Okay.
fucking great.
The best thing for Sakura Wars is Project Cross. That's all you need to know.
Wait
Exactly.
a minute. Wait. The mechs get it on? I mean,
No, you get it on with the pilots, you idiot.
well, no. You I mean, you have to be in the pilot ship of the robot.
Yes, you need to
Yeah,
be
you
inside
have
the
to-
pilot.
you have
You
to-
know,
You have to pilot the waifus. That's all you need to know.
and
Pound the rifles, I like it.
and then you have to, use the pilot to use the controls to bend the robot over, and then something happens, something magical to people, I guess.
no, Ren over here is trying to explain, and verbally, mind you, how robots.
My ears.
I just want to explain
mechs
robot
reproduce.
coitus. I mean,
Anyways, my friend here is a little confused, but yeah, it's pretty much what it is. It's a cool game. I don't know about Cross Zone. I don't like Cross Zone, but
you
goodbye, my love.
Man, you suck.
It's a good game. Cross Zone fucking sucks.
Ooh,
Alright,
you
man.
suck.
Cross Zone does actually suck, though.
Yes, it's a piece of shit. Man,
Yeah, you can go suck.
fights are way too long. It's fucking stupid. All right.
Well, it's an RPG.
150
bro.
levels.
You know, technical RPG.
Thank you, Unlimited. See, someone fucking understands. I'm not doing all that
Man,
shit.
none of you guys understand. Yeah, here.
Laziness.
Laziness. Yeah, I'm gonna
Shameful.
fucking do a bunch of shit for hours just to get people to talk shit.
yeah, you're gonna be
Yeah,
fighting
that's
that
the fun
golem on Final Fantasy 15 for
Wait
like
a second,
15 minutes.
Reaper.
I
should play
would rather
Final
do that.
Fantasy.
It's better looking.
Yeah, you fucking hypocrite.
At
Oh, my
25 frames per second.
Well, now that's
Yeah,
just the
really.
Xbox One version.
I don't even think that was 25. That's
It's
in
better
like
than looking at
15
the
or
same
something.
fucking animations over and over again from fucking Cross Zone.
Yeah, same thing in Final Fantasy. Oh lord, you know what? Can we move
The
on, please?
bosses are at least good looking.
This
Can we
is
move on, please?
this is
Completely
goddamn.
two different styles of RPGs.
Well, Ren
here.
compared them. I was
Gen-
like, okay.
Gentlemen,
this.
gentlemen, let's just turn left and move on to the next
Yeah,
one.
Yeah,
Cross Zone
but-
sucks.
We will all acknowledge now that Gundam is better. Move on.
It is, and please VR, PSVR, please let me be the cockpit pilot in next Gundam.
If I'm not Hero Yuri, then I don't want it.
Fuck Hero, I want to be my own character.
Reapers, do you want to take on the next one, or
Yeah, you scroll.
Let's see, Cross Zone sucks. Oh, Steam is now implementing controller support for the PlayStation 4 controller. Since it's a lot easier to do to Valve stating a lot of the same layouts for third-party software, is something the Steam user uses behind the scene. How do you feel about this? Do you think more controller support would be good.
I-
Yes, the PS4 controller is a really good controller. I like the Xbox controller, the Elite controller. I like it a lot, but I would like to play it on my PS4 controller.
I think that's a great idea because, like, there is a third-party application to use the PS4 controller, but I've been having issues with it where it will like just randomly go away, and it's like, it's not even there anymore. I'm like, what the fuck? So it'll be there for a while, then it'll go away. So it's like, I don't know. It's like weird issues like that. So it'd be cool to have like some kind of official support of the controllers. That way it'd be easier. Just like every time I want to hook up the controller, it'll recognize it. So that's cool. Because like I feel like this is also kind of a long time coming because, I really like the PS4 controller. I would like to use them in PC games, but it's not always easy to find like a third party program that will recognize PS4 controller, so you can use it on PC.
Well, can I interject really quickly? DS4 Windows is pretty good.
That's what I was using, actually.
Yeah, these drivers are not perfect. Sometimes you will have issues with it, such as the button prompts not showing up because the drivers don't recognize too well. I think this is great for the most part. I get tired of people just sort of suggesting, hey, if you want a good PC controller, then just get an Xbox One controller, get an Xbox 360 controller.
Or you can get a Steam controller.
Well, I'm not vibing that.
There's mixed opinions about the Steam controller.
I'm not vibing that D-pad, unfortunately. That's the reason.
It seems like it's something you have to get used to.
And, of course, I'll get more into controllers when we have that controller discussion about what's the best and what's the worst. But overall...
Dreamcast. Yeah, it sucks.
There's going to be a lot of Dreamcast hate. But I think that the DualShock 4 is a really good controller, and it's good that they're supporting it. Now I'm able to shut up people that are on the Xbox side that says, well, PC is hard to get into because you can't plug and play. Now you have plug and play on Steam, so...
But,
there you have it.
Wasn't that always a thing with like the 360 controller? I mean,
it was, yeah, but people still make that argument of it's too hard to do. You can't plug and play. You can't set this up properly.
Well, like the more controllers that are added to the support, the more plug and play friendly it becomes. Plug and play. Okay, I'm sorry, plug and play. That's like, I don't know. That just came off wrong. I don't know why.
It has turned into an excuse, unfortunately, because people aren't willing to go to sites and download drivers, or they think it's too hard when it's really not. I mean, a simple Google
takes
search.
like 5 minutes to do.
Yeah, a simple Google search. People cannot do Google, Dom.
Man,
Well, I will say this. Like, because I've been using my PS3 controller on my PC for a while now, but apparently I've been using this program called MotionJoy that recognizes your controller, and you can use it for emulators and whatnot. But apparently recently there was an update for like I think it was Windows 10, and it completely fucks with like MotionJoy, and it won't recognize my controller anymore. So it's like, I know that's kind of a Windows 10 issue, but there are like weird issues like that where it's like, you'll have a third party program, but because of something with the operating system, it just completely fucks with it. But that's also kind of a, obscure thing too. And I blame Windows 10 for the most part because it's a shit operating system.
All
I
right.
don't care what people think of that.
I mean, Windows 10 hasn't been giving me that.
I won't say it's shit, but it's like, it's all right. It has some really weird issues.
It could be worse. It could be Windows 8.
Oh God.
Oh no.
That is worse.
Well, I wanted to sort of get into one question that's not on the document, and I wanted someone to take the last question, so I wanted Dom to take that. But the question I have is, I made a video on this not too long ago about live streaming versus raw video uploads on YouTube when it comes to gaming content. What's better to you guys?
I prefer uploading. Like, I mean, I really think it depends. Like, there are the type of people that are really good at coming up with like commentary on the fly, and are more used to live streaming, and are not as you can obviously still go and get the live stream from YouTube and edit it or whatever, but it's not really the same as just uploading videos. I think it's just I prefer the uploading rather than live stream, because live streaming, like some people might say it's easy, but to me it feels a lot more complicated than just uploading video, because usually I'll just go with the same settings I'm using to record, and that's that. It's not really much else than that. I don't have to constantly like try to go back and adjust settings because maybe there's a connection issue, or I'm dropping frames for some reason. I used to have that issue a lot where I was dropping frames for really no reason. And, there's a lot of factors that go into streaming. And if you're going to, it's more complicated to me than just uploading videos.
Okay, I brought this up.
What question are we
on? This is a question I came up with about like live streaming versus video game uploads on YouTube
was it just kind of like an off the cuff?
Off the cuff, because
Okay.
some guy, he said going to a Twitch link was hard.
What?
I'm sorry, what?
Yes.
It's hard if you
Are
don't.
you talking about Heartache?
I mean,
No.
it's hard if it's not there readily available for you to click on, and you don't know. If you type in twitch.com, then yeah, I guess it'd be hard
No,
to find it.
I'm talking about there's people complaining in the gaming community when you share out a Twitch link on Twitter and it's right in front of their face, and they tell you that like it's way too hard for me to click on this because I'm just that lazy.
I think
that's
not so
dumb.
much of a specific issue for Twitch as it is just more people being lazy and not wanting to click links. Like that's a new level of laziness I've never
They wanted
heard
to
of.
click the giant box picture where it displays the video for them right there in the feed. Is that the problem?
This book doesn't have any pictures.
Exactly.
I've heard it.
Make some.
I don't see that as a reason to not stream though, because I'd rather have people that are smart enough to know how to click a link be in the chat versus people who aren't.
I don't know, man. I've seen Twitch chat, man. I don't think you can get it.
Well,
Surely
I
the
mean,
people
I
that
feel
didn't
like
click the link are better.
it weeds out at least a couple people.
Those fucking chats are cancer. Fuck me, man. You see Kappa like 5,000
It
times.
varies. It varies. Like there are trolls,
But
That's another thing about
The
streaming.
ultimate shitpost happens on Twitch. Okay, don't kid yourself.
Yeah,
Well, I
like
mean,
you have
see the
live
same
chat.
thing in YouTube video comments though.
yeah, I mean both are equally
I
bad.
think Ren brought this up too. Is you do feel more pressure when you're streaming to do well, because whenever you upload a video to YouTube, you can really just edit a lot of your deaths out. But if you're streaming, then you really have to rely just solely on your skill, and that can be a lot of pressure sometimes if there's a lot of people watching you.
Yes, the Let's
Well,
Play
Well, I
curve.
don't
judging
know,
you.
because
Well-
I kind of disagree on that. Just because editing, like especially if I'm not just going to basically just match up the sound and then produce a video and then upload it. If I'm actually trying to cut stuff, there's so many things where it's like, oh, it's edited, so clearly it has to be perfect. Where I don't think people assume that a Twitch stream, a live stream, is going to be perfect. So
Well, I
feel
wasn't
like there's
necessarily
less
saying
pressure.
perfect, but
Well, yeah, but there's less there's a pressure to perform for both of
Yeah.
them, but there's no expectation for everything to go perfectly well and smoothly with a Twitch stream. It's nice when it happens, but mostly it's like I know plenty of people that just put a Twitch stream on their second monitor while they're doing something else and they just listen.
yeah.
So
I
if
think a
they're
really good-
dying
sorry.
18 times, it's not the biggest deal because the person just is still talking and chatting with people throughout. Versus if you have a YouTube video where they die 18 times, that would be different.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I think a really good example is like I'm not good with puzzles in games, and like if there's a puzzle in a game during a stream, you'll see me like spend a fuck ton of time trying to figure it out sometimes if it's like a really hard puzzle.
Right.
So like in a video, like if I was uploading a video, I would just like cut out all that filler where I'm like trying to figure it out and get to the part where I'm like, okay, here's what I have to do. But in a stream, it's like, okay, sorry guys, but I'm like stuck. If I get stuck for a certain amount of time on it, I'm like, I'm just gonna say fuck it and look up the solution or how to figure it out. I think that's a huge major difference there. But
Can I add on really quick?
Sure.
Like for me personally, I just never really like I stream and I don't really care what people think because I'm just trying to have a good time.
yeah, I mean, I don't really
like-
care too much, but
Like
is
I can see where you're coming from though.
I try to have a
the
quality
point
standard to some
where
degree.
like I can see where you're coming from to a degree where like it's like if you're taking too long on like a puzzle or a certain part is just taking too
I
long
don't want to
because you keep
bore
dying.
people. That's
I get that. I definitely get that. But like at the same time, it's like, those things could be easily like, I guess avoided sometimes depending on what you're trying to do. Like not so much on like a blind run, but if you're doing like a New Game Plus run, it shouldn't be an issue if you're dying. But like puzzles, if you're trying to do it blind, I guess go for it, but it'd be better to just look up the puzzle really quick and just do it like that, because
that's what I
saves
usually
so
end
much
up having to
time.
do. So
Well, I think it's one of those things where YouTube, especially for super small channels, it's easier to do YouTube because it's so hard when you're starting out on Twitch, having an empty chat and nobody to talk to, but you're still trying to put your stuff out there, because you feel more awkward talking to yourself on the off chance somebody pops in and you're just sitting there talking to yourself. It's more awkward where you do have at least a pretend audience when you're making a YouTube video, that you're trying to talk to an audience in the future. And so there's a different feel to it versus basically talking to no one. You can see that there's no one there, or if there's like 5 people. And if they're not talking back, it just gets increasingly more awkward as you go. So I feel like that also factors into it too. There's no pressure to try to interact with people with a YouTube video, where even when you have nobody watching your video, you're supposed to still interact somehow, and it's just very awkward and weird.
Okay, what I said in that video was the fact that I feel pressured when people watch me, because I feel as though if I have to talk and entertain, that's going to distract me from playing the game. Now, I can understand those people who they're having fun in chat and this might not bother them, but to me it does, because when I'm in quiet and in solitude and focusing on the game, I play much better than trying to focus on commentary. So that's what I was saying in the video. I also said that as much as you can edit in videos on YouTube, I mean, none of this stuff is perfect. For YouTube in particular, if you put a lot of edits into a video and you don't get the feedback you want, then I can see people getting frustrated. At the same time, with live streaming, when there's problems like tech issues and background noise and streams crashing, the obvious solution is to let it go, because you can't do anything about it since it's on air. The only thing you could do is when the video is exported to YouTube is to edit that stuff out. So I was saying I prefer both. I like editing videos and making them look nice. At the same time, I like having fun on live streaming, but I know that they aren't perfect because anything could go wrong and it's live on air. So that's kind of what I was saying. Like, not both of them really doesn't cancel each other out to me. It's just that I prefer doing, both of them, and I just can't pick one over the other.
Yeah, I agree with Ren. I like doing both. Even those streams, I don't, not a lot of people join sometimes, or they don't watch. I don't really give a fuck. I mean, I have people there. We do what we usually do. We have fun. We talk about shit. We slander Ren. For him to find that out later if he ever watches our videos.
Shut up.
It's a routine. It's a thing I like to do. Doing this whole Halloween thing and other streams that I've been doing. I've really had a lot of fun doing them. So even if there is tech issues, I always have it recorded while I'm streaming, so it doesn't show up on the video. So it's no skin off my fucking bones. You know what I mean?
I'd also kind of like to add on to the point too. It's like, take a look at we're talking about like YouTube versus Twitch. I think that could also apply to doing actual more heavy edited content and whatnot, as opposed to doing a podcast. Personally, I've started to kind of lean more towards the podcast thing, just because I feel as though I can say what I want and I don't have to I don't feel like I mess up as much. And if I do, it's just kind of an instant switch on the fly. Whereas if I'm trying to record, I'm trying to be more perfectionist, sort of I'm trying to get the lines out perfectly, and I'm trying to get out everything as clear and crisp as possible. And that takes up a lot more time, and if you're on a tight schedule and whatnot, I could definitely understand where that's kind of a lot more frustrating, as opposed to getting on a stream, just playing a game and just kind of talking like we are now, Yeah, and I would also say too, don't try not to worry too much about scheduling and just like uploading too much. Like, yeah, you should try to keep a more consistent schedule and whatnot. But if there's a video, and you're trying to work on, but you just haven't had the time to because, you work or something, or you're trying to do other things that have a higher priority, don't worry about uploading it later. As long as you get your thoughts and opinions out eventually, that's really all that matters. I mean, as long as you're having fun doing it.
Yep, you
Just
gotta
remember,
Don't let people tell you what to do with your content, right?
you gotta do what you gotta do.
nothing anyone can make can be as bad as my content, and people subscribe to me, so I'm gonna watch it. That's what I've learned from my YouTube career.
So I think we have time for that was a great segue. So I think we have time for one more question, and that's about it. We're gonna do these outros pretty soon. So Dom, I want you to take the last one.
Oh man. Okay, there's a lot of main questions. There's some interesting niche questions. Man. Man, you got me on this one. I don't know.
I will save them for the next podcast because instead of putting them in archive, I just put them in main. But it is 2 hours, so we do have to wrap up soon.
Yeah, for sure. I think what we can do actually is why don't we talk about number 10, because I think this one's a very interesting topic we can end off on. Bethesda discusses how mods will work on the PlayStation 4 versions of Skyrim and Fallout 4. Are you interested in the possibilities of mod support on PlayStation 4 now that it's coming?
Well, it's good that they decided to do this instead of Sony just not giving a word as to why they denied Bethesda in the first place, because that was a problem. But I think that is great. I don't know how specifically they are going to do this. Hopefully it's it's a user-created system where people can upload their mods and share them with the community. I think that is the main benefactor to make this a success, because they have to be able to give the community their chance to sort of share their vision as to what they could put in the game. But I think it's going to be limited at first. It's going to be the companies first, and then maybe they'll open up the gate to other people. Hopefully it goes well. I just hope they don't charge for it. That's the thing that people got in a tiff for on Steam and shit when they tried to make people pay for mods, and it just wasn't happening. People fought against it.
I would like to say that when it comes to mod support, I think I've been pretty open about that. Like I've always been saying, we need to really have it, and it needs to be a thing. But at the same time, how far are they gonna let people go when it comes to the mod support? Are they gonna just allow you to go crazy and then allow people that like to make nude mods or whatever allow that to happen? Or are they just going to be we'll let you have these mods because we approved them, but you can't have any of these other mods that could potentially improve the game or whatever, stuff like that. That's kind of worrisome.
God. Yeah, there's got to be a filter too. I thought about the new mods. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I think for me, what I would love to see, and especially for specific games and whatnot, I would love to see, cosmetic stuff, and I would love to see stuff that would help improve the visuals and the quality of games, and potentially even expand on something that maybe the developers weren't able to do because of their development time and very strict stuff, schedules and whatnot.
Makes sense. Yeah, I can see that. Anyone else have any other opinions on this? Going once, going twice.
I just remembered one. Really hope that guy that uploads mods that bricks people's consoles doesn't do it on the PS4 too.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. People would be getting trolled, but
that dude is kind of a dick.
That's an understatement. Oh man. But yeah, I think there needs to be a filter because, some people, unfortunately, they get lulled into a false sense of security, and they upload something and they see it, and it's offensive to them, and they don't like it, and they get mad at the company instead of the person that made it. So that filter needs to be put in play. I think it's good, though. It is great that it is returning, and Sony finally allowed it, thank God. So, I think that's about it for tonight. So, we're going to do these outros. So, Miss Scarberry, where can we find you?
I can be found on Twitter and Instagram at the Scarberry, and on Twitch, my channel is the Scarberry, but on YouTube, I'm just Scarberry. And yeah, that's it, I think.
Mr. Chaos?
I think you said you'd be right back.
Ripperino. Alright, Dom, you do your outro, please?
Yeah, so you guys can find me as biodevil_Dom on YouTube and Twitter, and then on Twitch, it's Dom241996. Yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me. Still trying to figure out this whole streaming mess. Yeah, hopefully I can get it all sorted out soon. But no promises made, so Shenmue 2 might be on a much longer delay than anticipated.
So let me outro Mr. Jake since he had to leave. So you can find him on Twitter at Jake Has an Apple, and you can find him on YouTube at Jake Peter Gaming. Pretty cool guy, so you can check him out there. Mr. Brandon Williams, what's your outro?
Twitter, YouTube, Arcane Magic Armor 4, Spooky, Halloween, yeah.
Sorry, I'm back.
We're doing outros, Chaos.
Did you already do mine, or do you want me to?
You can do yours.
Okay. So Captain Chaos, you can find me on Twitter and YouTube. Twitter is Captain Chaos, and YouTube is same name, just with a space in between, Captain Chaos. And mostly do Let's Plays, unboxings, reviews, stuff like that. I try to do a variety of things. I'm trying to put out more Halloween horror-related stuff, so might be starting up Condemned 2 Bloodshot sometime soon. So look forward to that. It's been a while since I played the first Condemned, but I'm looking forward to playing the sequel. I have played the sequel before, but I have never beaten it, so it'll be interesting.
All right, so Mr. Reapers. This man.
I'm right here, asshole. Hold on. Now I gotta compose myself. You can find me on Reapers240. That's my Twitter, my Twitch, and my YouTube. So you can find me doing my usual stuff there.
What about you, Unlimited?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Unlimited, where you will be incredibly disappointed with my content. On Twitch, Unlimited Streams, which you can see more of the same. And other than that, I just want to say that Griffith did nothing wrong.
This irks me so much.
Someone killed us, man.
But by the way, on a side note, I would say that you saying that your content is very uninteresting or whatever, I don't want to really check it out just to see. It's like making me curious.
That's like a tagline.
I have to see now.
Welcome to Unlimited. You're gonna be disappointed.
It's sandbagging. It's if there's no expectation, like incredibly mediocre content.
Alright, so I guess I can outro myself. So you can find me on Twitter at RenOperative_. You can find me on YouTube at Renegade Operative. I was supposed to work on a video today, but I got caught up doing stuff. But there's a lot of TCP stuff.
Traffic.
Well,
That's what you're calling it these days.
if she's hot,
Work,
then you know
quote unquote.
that's work to me. But
Is she single? That's the important question.
I'll be at the office.
I'll be out all day, people.
Hey, get some coffee.
So I was supposed to work on a video today. I didn't do it, but loads of
Lazy.
TCP stuff. A lot of stuff didn't get uploaded. It's going to be uploaded this week. Some interviews coming up with Kira Buckland. She is probably going to be on Wednesday or Friday, as well as some other special people that I can't talk about yet, but it's going to be interesting. So the next episode of this podcast is going to be on November 16th. And then after that, we go on holiday because it's Turkey Day, Thanksgiving. Woo woo.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Renegade Day.
Aren't we also going on
Celebrate the Native American
semi-hiatus
land we
too?
took.
Yeah, I mean, well,
because don't we usually take like holiday off or whatever?
yeah, holiday
around
is
that
gonna
time?
be off, but you know, I mean,
Super slow, right?
National
Super slow
Stuff Your
time.
Face Day.
yeah, it's
Renegade Day.
well, that's
And get drunk.
well. Let me explain. That's not going to stop people from coming in the call, I guess, if they want to. So I don't mind getting in the call if I had nothing
Basically,
to
it's
do.
going to be dead.
But if it's dead, you know, that's
Yeah,
just.
no, I mean like for content related.
Oh, content. Yeah, we're gonna be on
Stuff is
break.
gonna get slowed down, right? It's not really gonna be.
I'll just do a podcast by myself since I don't celebrate.
I mean, you do have an accent. People will listen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's why people subscribe to me. Is just my weird accent. So
but yeah, I think November is gonna slow down a lot. Same for Christmas because you know Christmas holidays. But I'll keep people informed. And then after New Year's, I guess we pick right back up again in terms of
You're
doing
getting
content.
cold, man.
Yeah, we go right back to work, fapping, all that good stuff. So
Hard.
Getting you coal and swishes.
this is the TCP signing off. I had fun on this podcast, and you guys take care out there in YouTube land. We will see you next time. Later.
You're still getting coal.
You need Jesus.
I do. I really do.
I just ended it.
Call me big booty ladies.
Look, I'm going.